Hi, I'm Kylie.
I'm Corey.
And we are Lit Libations.
Welcome to our last Bridgerton episode.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
End of an era.
There is a prequel, but we can do that later.
Yeah, if anybody's interested. I don't know if I am.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know. Do you know what it's about?
I thought you said that it was about like Violet's friends.
Yeah, I heard that it was about like Edmund's neighbors or something when they were
young.
I don't know. I don't remember. Like,
why
they're neighbors? Why not Edmund's family or something? Or
I want to know more
Violet.
about Edmund.
Yeah, or Violet. Sorry.
So true. So true.
So and I was like, if that's the case, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that again.
We can look more into it, and if it is something that people want, maybe we could either put it on Patreon or do it at a later date.
At a later date, yeah. Well, let us know. It's not out of the question.
But right now, I think we need a break.
Yeah, we need to move on.
Yeah,
from Bridgerton. For sure.
Not that I'm not enjoying it, but my God, I need a break.
It's gonna be. Something. Have you started reading Uglies yet?
Not yet.
It's gonna be such a different vibe.
I have a really hard time. Like, I like to immerse myself so fully in one experience as I'm like reading it. So I kind of have a hard time reading multiple books at one time, jumping to different stories, because I do find that I just get so locked in.
Yeah.
So
I am not like that. I have like an audiobook that I read strictly for when I'm walking dogs. I have a book that I read on my Kindle app before I go to bed. And then I have the books that we're reading for this. I have physical book always somewhere.
Yeah. I remember you said that, and I was like, that's so badass. Like, I just cannot, my mind cannot wrap its head around so many different things at once. It makes me feel overwhelmed, and then I don't want to read anything.
Yeah. So you gotta just approach it differently, which is fine.
I think I have undiagnosed ADHD, but that's fine.
You might. Maisie update, not much to update since we just recorded a couple days ago. She did poop and pee in the house this morning, which was very upsetting. I put her outside and she just would not, like, she just wanted back up the stairs, back into the couch. So she just seems afraid of the outside, which is really upsetting.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do. I don't know what you need. But then we came back inside and I fed her, and then I like went to go get ready for a walk so she could walk, so she could go, and then she just pooped and peed inside.
No.
I cried.
Honey. Did you really?
Yeah, I was just frustrated because then she stepped in it and then Bruce stepped in it.
Oh no, Bruce did.
Gosh, darn it.
Bruce
and then Gilly's
excited.
like walking around. I'm like, get out of here. Let me fix it.
Everyone go to their designated rooms, please.
Yes.
I need a minute.
I need a moment. And it was fine after that. I want you to be happy and comfortable.
I know. It is hard, but I do think that these this sorts of situations take time from what I've seen on TikTok.
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, there's like a rule of 3, like 3 days for them to decompress, and then like 3 weeks for something, and then even like 3 months for them to feel
at home
comfortable. But Brutus took like a year for his like personality to start showing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it took a long time.
Oh, that's interesting.
But I wasn't with him the whole time.
Yeah, that's fair.
But still,
and Brutus
a whole year
is the best, and he's got so much personality, just in such a tiny little package.
He's funny. He can't sit still, so that's why he's never up here.
He makes too much noise.
Yeah, and he wants to just be wherever we're not.
Yeah.
Okay. Go join the Facebook group Lit Libations Lounge. It's getting hype. Not really, but go join. Oh yeah, and we also have a Patreon, which is called Lit Libation Nation. So it's patreon.com/Lit Libation Nation. If you're interested in joining us, we're gonna start throwing up bonus content, and also let us know what kind of bonus content you want to see.
Yeah. I'll be honest, like, I was one of those people, I can't even lie. Like, I was one of those people that was like, God, how hard could an influencer job be, like, genuinely? Like a podcaster, influencer, whatever. Yeah,
it's like they got it so good.
Yeah, they literally, and honestly, it's a lot of work.
It's hard. When I started reading It Ends With Us.
Yeah.
And I was like, how are we going to like do this all in one episode?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just like planning, it's management. It's like notes take a long time. I mean, truly, like, you have a lot of flexibility with your time, but it is a full-time job with bonus content and regular content. And so I actually have a lot more respect for like
creators.
For creators. To be fair, again, like it's amazing. Like I love it. I would do it every single day. It's like a passion, but also it is a lot to do for like a side hustle. Kind of.
And it's crazy because we just like last October we're like, do you want to start a podcast? And yep, okay, let's do it. And then we just started it. So we spent like the rest of that last year 2023 researching. Yeah. But still, we got into it so fast. So we're just... and
it's all just like going so quickly. Whirlwind. Everything's going quickly.
It has been.
Like, oh my gosh, this is actually like way harder than I thought it would be.
Yeah. We're doing it though.
Yeah, we are.
But yeah, it'll be fun.
What are we drinking?
What are we drinking today?
We have 2 drinks today. I got 2 because they just looked interesting. I got Nancy Mom Water, which I've been dying to try for a couple weeks.
Like there's a different mom name for the different flavors.
And this one's Nancy. No, I think they're all Nancy. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I've seen a Karen, but I just didn't know what it meant.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, there's different names on there.
To be honest, I just grabbed the flavor that I liked. I saw the Mom Water. Well, there you go. And it's supposed to be like flavored water, but obviously alcoholic. And then I tried these other ones because Corey tends to like a little bit more carbonation in her seltzers / like drinks, like alcoholic, but
canned cocktails. I don't know what to call them. Well, let me open this.
Okay, yeah. So carbonation. So she likes a little bit more carbonation. So I got these NÜTRL.
Yeah, I would say NÜTRL. Yeah.
Okay. And they're more of a seltzer, and this is in watermelon.
And that one says vodka, seltzer, real juice.
Real juice.
And the Mom Waters are not carbonated, and they're 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and 90 calories.
Yeah, but to be fair, the NÜTRL only has 100 calories, so it's like, if you like carbonation, I feel like that's a good one. I don't know. We'll see.
Let's try it. Okay. First up is the Mom Water.
First up, yeah, exactly.
Smells good.
I can't smell a thing, if I'm honest. My nose is plugged up. I can't smell shit. Ooh.
It's not bad. I feel like I want it in a cup of ice.
Okay, I see that.
It's not super flavorful.
Here's the thing. You can't taste alcohol at all.
No.
It's 4.5% alcohol. But
that's a good point.
But it does just taste like slightly flavored water.
It tastes like flat seltzer water. It's slightly flavored. Yeah, it's not a super flavorful like the long drinks were.
But I'm not like a big carbonation person. So if you don't like carbonation, this is a good choice.
Yeah, it's nice and light. It doesn't feel like you're really drinking like something way too sweet. I feel like you could really put these down.
Like it really feels like you're just drinking flavored water. Like I'm actually so dead ass.
Yeah, it's not that bad. I'm gonna drink it.
Yeah, I'm the more that I'm drinking it, like the more that I'm talking myself into it, the more I'm liking it. To be fair, I liked it initially, but
it's interesting. I mean, for what it is, it's good.
If you take it at face value, if you're trying to like compare it to
like a White Claw.
You're not going to win.
Yeah, no, yeah. You got to, take it at face value. You're getting a pineapple orange flavored flat still water. Is that what they call it?
Still water? Yeah. Flat. Flat sounds like
flat
so negative.
Flat is so negative. It is.
It's fucking flat.
It's still water. It's not bad.
No, it's good. I actually really like it. I think I could slam those for sure, especially like on a night out. Yeah. I could slam that.
Oh, heck yeah.
Dude, I could shotgun that easy.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even hurt. It wouldn't even hurt.
It wouldn't even hurt
at all. All right.
Did I shout you out last episode for
what?
For always buying the drinks and coming up with the drinks and making the drinks?
You do not need to shout me out for that at all.
Yeah, you've done it like 4 times in a row, and
you got the seltzers just like a couple times ago, and you got the edibles.
Yeah, true. But
I feel like it's fairly even.
Okay, well, I just wanted to shout you out for like 3 episodes and I keep forgetting, so thank you.
Yeah, of course. We are reading On the Way to the Wedding Part 2 by Julia Quinn.
Yay, Gregory's story. Finishing it up. And could you figure out which one of us liked it and which one of us hated it from last time?
And if you can't, let's see if you can this one.
By the end of it, you will, because we're going to talk about it.
I feel like I was way more chill on my stance because I was so unbelievably high.
Oh my gosh,
I couldn't put an ounce
I'm
of
still
emotion.
feeling it. It
I
was
know.
2 days ago. I feel like my limbs are still heavy.
I couldn't put an ounce of emotion into any of the words I was saying. I was just trying to focus on reading them out loud.
Really nervous. I don't know how that episode is going to turn out.
I'm really nervous.
Because you would be talking for like a minute and I'd just be staring at Maisie breathing. I'm like, you're like, do you understand? I'm like, I actually wasn't listening.
At the end, I propped my feet up and I'm pretty sure that you couldn't see me for like 15 minutes.
Seriously?
I'm not 100% sure, but I actually am worried about it. I had my legs propped up and I was like behind them. So I'm like pretty sure you couldn't see me on YouTube for like 15, 20 minutes. I was like hiding. I don't know what happened.
We'll see.
Oh, what a mess. I loved it.
All right. Should we get into it?
Let's do it.
Oh my God. Let's get it started. All right. We left off on chapter 13, which was, we probably should have left off at chapter 12, but it has been 1 month since the house party at Kate and Anthony's, and we learned that Lucy's betrothed is fine, but his father is atrocious, and her future just seems bleak as fuck. I hope that came across last time.
Yeah. We're like, yeah, she's engaged. What did you say?
It was really bad. Oh, but now we know.
No, we know.
Chapter 14. Gregory sees Lucy in Hyde Park on his first day back in London. And he's like, of course I would see Lucy not only on the first day, but his first hour out and about because he liked to take walks, I guess. Oh, yeah, he was out walking around because it had just rained and he loved the way it smelled after the rain. Do you know what that's called?
The way it smells after a rain?
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the specific smell?
There's a specific smell?
Yeah, that people love.
Nope.
It's called petrichor.
Oh.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
I think I have heard of it, but to be honest, I couldn't have.
I can't explain it further, but that's what that is.
The smell after rain is very, very
distinct
and like
fresh.
Comforting.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
His brother and mother had invited him to live with them several times, but he preferred his independence. He didn't want to be subjected to Violet's scrutiny all the time, which is fair. He's the last unmarried Bridgerton child, after all. And being around Anthony made him feel like, for some reason, that he was somehow not living up to the family name. I feel like that just comes out of nowhere. Maybe they do have a little scene with Anthony last section. I don't know.
Yes.
I feel like this plot just kind of, they just put it in because he's young.
See, and I said this a little bit with Hyacinth, or maybe last book. I don't know. I was too high to make a point, but I do feel like it's the conflict for Gregory and Hyacinth within their separate respective books kind of comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like it's the way that we talked about Hyacinth in a sense of like when she had to say something like we know Hyacinth as being able to read the room, but then she was saying all these like socially awkward things and it was like, where is this coming from?
Yeah, she's smarter than that.
And then for this, we have this weird unnecessary tension between Gregory and the rest of his brothers because he feels super out of place.
Yeah, and they're just like they're telling him that he has a problem. They're like, you're so much younger than your brothers. That must be really tough. And he's like, no, I've been fine.
He's like, I've actually never thought about it, but now that you're telling me, maybe I should. Yeah. Maybe I should think about it now. It's so weird.
That's how it felt like, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, solution to all these problems, moving out. So, yeah, he lives by himself. I don't know why. He's just like thinking all of this between seeing Lucy for the first time and like going up to her.
Yeah.
She's sitting on a bench throwing bread to ducks. And he remembers her sitting on a bench at Aubrey Hall looking somber because Richard had probably just told her that her engagement was finalized, which he didn't know. He wishes she would have told him. He thinks if he had known that she was spoken for, he would have never kissed her. And then he's like, would he have kissed her? Would I? But he remembers the kiss in vivid detail. He didn't even know why he kissed her, but once he did, he had really gotten lost in the kiss. Lucy hadn't seen him yet, and it felt almost luxurious to observe her, but not the back of her neck this time.
And
he realized,
face?
Yeah.
Nice.
And he realized she's talking to the ducks, and he chuckles to himself. I feel like all like the weird, quirky things that she has with her, we think undiagnosed OCD, but we don't know for sure. We can't say that. So I feel like all of Lucy's little quirks that she has for whatever reason, I don't know the reason. It's never been anything but endearing for Gregory.
I love that.
Which is really cute, yeah. Then she turned and she saw him, and oh my God, it was so good to see her. He approaches her right away, saying, "Oh my gosh, what a surprise to see you. I didn't know you were in London." Lucy smiled, probably shocked as fuck, but she just handed him a piece of bread. And they joke around about pigeons and the bread, and it's like they slid back into their old rapport like nothing had changed, nothing had happened. All that awkwardness after the kiss was gone. Gregory noticed that Lucy was tossing her breadcrumbs methodically, one after another, 3 seconds apart. And at one point, Lucy calls him insufferable, and Gregory says, "Well, my mother likes me. My sister, not so much."
Okay, don't even.
And Lucy says, "The one you're
Shit.
fond of torturing?" And Gregory says, "I don't torture her because I like to do it. I do it because it's necessary." And he says, "To who?" And Gregory says, "To all of Britain. Trust me."
Okay, do you know what, though? Do you want to know what? I'm going to defend myself here. I am going to defend myself here. Because what I do is I write down quotes. Okay, I just copy and paste them in a list, and I just assume I know, and I don't put where I found them, and I just hope that they're
which
in the
one
right
sounds
spot.
good for this week.
I feel like,
anyways, that's the second week in a row that she picked her quote from the second half of the book for the first half of the episode.
Sometimes I feel like I'm a 70-year-old woman in like in a 28-year-old's body.
It was really funny. It's hilarious.
Oh my God.
Anyways, this makes Lucy laugh, and he likes the sound of her laugh. It was warm, rich, and true. Gregory mentions how Hyacinth is married to Gareth St. Clair, and he says, "God help him," and apologizes for blaspheming. Is that how you say that?
Yeah.
Blaspheming.
Blaspheming.
Well, I only know that word as blasphemy.
Yeah. Blaspheming.
Blaspheming. Yeah,
Blasphemy.
I don't know. So I try not to write it down a whole lot, but
yeah,
Lucy says there's no need to apologize. There are times when only the Lord's name will properly convey one's desperation. And he's like, "Why do I feel like you're speaking from experience?" And then she just says, "Last night," in confirmation. Lucy calls him insufferable again, and he knows just how many times she said that, because when she says something, he remembers it because he likes her.
What?
They chat some more and they laugh, and he asks her if she comes here often, and she said she likes to feed the birds because it's relaxing. So the first episode, he was like, "How you doing?"
And this one's he said, "You come here often?
"You come here often?"
Come here often?
One time I was renting a snowboard at somewhere, wherever we were snowboarding, and the guy renting me my snowboard was like, "Do you shred often?" Do you shred often? It was so funny.
What do you say to something like that?
I was like, "What?"
You said
"No."
what?
Not that often.
What? What are you talking about?
It
What are you
was so funny.
What kind of line is that?
It was hilarious. Anyways, they talk about the bread that they're throwing to the birds, and Lucy says it's a very fine loaf of bread, well baked and extremely tasty, I'll have you know. And Gregory says, "I shall always defer to you on matters of nourishment. I've seen you eat breakfast." And then he's like, "That was a compliment, by the way."
Good.
Which I don't know if I would take it as a compliment,
No.
but
Not one way I'd take that. Even after he said it's a compliment.
yeah, I'd be like, "Well,
I would've cried
now
about it
I
later.
have to slow down at breakfast because you're going to comment on it all the time. God damn it. It's going to ruin things."
Yeah, not good. Not good.
I guess we're switching to Lucy's POV now. She thinks about how she was nervous to see Gregory, but when he came to talk to her, he'd put her at ease immediately, which is crazy, like under everything that she had just gone through.
True.
But she was in love with him after all. She was just relieved that she felt like herself around him. She hadn't felt like herself in weeks. She asks if he'd been in London all this time, and he says he'd only just returned last night. He left Aubrey Hall shortly after she did to visit Benedict and Sophie in Wiltshire. Lucy tells him she's been in town for 2 weeks. They had just arrived after Hermione's wedding. And Gregory says, "We are Hermione and Richard here then?" And she hated herself for listening for eagerness in his voice. And Lucy says, "No, they're not here. They're on their honeymoon. I'm here with my uncle for my wedding, which is in 1 week." This puts Gregory at a loss for words. And then she thought, quote, "If Gregory Bridgerton could be at a loss for words, then there was hope for the rest of humanity."
Ha ha ha.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
No, I just think
It's Hyacinth, the one that you should be thinking that about.
well, or Colin, or
I thought you were going to say
Hyacinth or
Penelope.
Colin.
Yeah.
Hyacinth or Colin, yeah.
But he offers her his solicitations for getting married in a week, and Lucy wonders if he had received an invitation because her uncle and Lord Davenport were determined to hold the ceremony in front of everyone in the ton. She tells him it'll be at St. George's here in London, and it's what my uncle wanted. And Gregory says, is your uncle in charge? Like, why isn't your brother an earl now? This is what we talked about for a long time last episode, I think.
And I stand by it.
Yeah.
10 toes down.
Yes. We have to get into that later because I was thinking, because Lucy and Richard are just a few years apart.
He's like 22, either 22 or 24. I can't remember exactly how old.
Just 2 or 4
4 to 6
years apart.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's close with me and my brother. And I only have one brother. So I was trying to put myself in her shoes. I'm like, how would I actually feel? So
no, I'd be so mad, especially because here's why I'd be especially mad. Because he also, not only does he not care to like defy his uncle for the sake of Lucy, his sister, who by the way, he is the Earl, but then he also goes and puts Hermione in a compromising position where they get caught. And yes, they did get married. He was prepared to marry her, but still that was like, I mean, he really didn't give her a choice.
Right. Yeah.
Well, okay, I shouldn't say, like, it's not like he forced himself on her, but it still was like a weird, he took her off.
It's not the way that you want to court or like get married to somebody.
No, for me, it felt very trappy. It felt like he trapped Hermione, in my opinion. Like, maybe Hermione's happy.
He knew what he was doing.
I don't know, but like,
he knew what he was doing when he took her away alone.
It felt very intentional.
Yeah.
So then, like, he just seems very selfish. Like, he's a selfish man. Like, I can't even.
I mean, everything that has to do with Hermione, take that out. Even just the way everything went down with Lucy, I would say that.
Yeah. No, yeah. The stuff with Hermione is like the exclamation point.
Yeah.
But the stuff he does with Lucy is like the sentence. Does that make sense?
That's beautiful.
Thank you
so
much.
beautiful.
Oh my God, thank you.
Lucy says that yes, he became the Earl last year, but he hasn't really taken over yet because he was still studying at Cambridge. He'll probably take his place soon now that he's ... married. And she hesitates to say Hermione's name. And I'm not sure if she just said that a second before, but she didn't. She just said we, and Gregory's like, we.
Yeah.
And then now she's hesitating to say Hermione's name. And Gregory says, don't. I'm quite recovered from all that. He told her he considers himself lucky for everything the way that it ended up. And Lucy is surprised, and she's like, really? But you were so very much. And he's like, stop. Don't say anything else, please. She apologizes, and he says, you say sorry a lot. And she says, it's who I am. I smooth things over and make things right. I make the best of things always. And Gregory says that's a commendable trait. And she's becoming angry, really, truly, beastly angry. Quote, she didn't want to be commended for knowing how to settle for second best. That was like winning a prize for the prettiest shoes in a foot race. Irrelevant and not the point.
Oh.
She's getting mad.
That's fair, though.
It sucks. She kind of comes at him about all the things that he said about love, and she stopped herself and said, well, you said a lot of things, hoping to end the conversation. And he apologizes if he upset her. He feels like this is coming out of nowhere, and tells her that he doesn't really think of Hermione very much anymore, except to realize that they weren't well suited after all. Lucy wanted to believe him because if he could forget Hermione, maybe she could forget him. And then he says he doesn't know how to explain it, but if you were ever to fall madly and inexplicably in love, well, just don't trust it, which were pretty much Hermione's exact words not too long ago. Lucy says it's not likely to happen to me. Well, maybe, but not like that. That desperate sort of thing you and Hermione now disavow. I'm not that sort, don't you think? Ugh. Then she says, well, none of that really matters anyways, because I am marrying Lord Hazelby or Halsby in 1 week, and I would never stray from my vows. And then Gregory is like, Hazelby? You're marrying Hazelby? I didn't know that. I didn't know he was your betrothed. And Lucy's like, well, why? What's wrong with him? And he's like, no. I've known him for a number of years. We were at college together in university. He's quite affable. He will treat you well, gently. And she's like, what the fuck? Gently?
Yeah.
What does that mean? And it's clear Gregory knows something we don't know about Hazelby, but he doesn't say anything more. He just says, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. Then he tells her his sister is hosting a soiree tomorrow. Would you like to attend? And Lucy says, yes. Oh my God, that sounds so cool and so fun. But I can't. My uncle won't let me. Gregory says, nonsense. You're coming. You better get ready. My mother will take care of this. My sister is a duchess. You're coming. They bid each other farewell, and Lucy wonders if he will really pull this off.
Good for all of them involved.
Chapter 15. An hour later, Gregory is in his mother's drawing room waiting for her. Gregory visits her twice a week when he's in town, but he's always surprised at how quiet the house is because he grew up with like insane, everyone's there, and now he's the last one, and now it's quiet.
Yeah.
They talk a little bit about Benedict and how his visit was, and then Gregory says, I need a favor. He tells her about Lucy and her uncle, and Violet's like, oh, well, this will be easy. I'll help you. And he starts to tell her more about the uncle, and she waves it away. She's like, child's play, my dear son. Leave this to me. I shall make short work of it.
Aww.
And I believe her. He tells himself he simply likes Lucy. He considers her a friend, and he wished for her to have a bit of fun. It was admirable, really, that he was doing this.
True.
Violet says if she has to lie to get her to come, that's what she'll do. Even if someone suspects Violet of lying, no one would dare to counter an old dragon like her. And then Gregory thinks even though she's a mother of 8 children, she did not look like anyone who could be considered like old. I love Violet. Violet is perfect, by the way.
She probably looks like she's like 32.
I believe that 100%.
I see it 100%. I really just picture the actress in the show who is fucking stunning.
Oh my God, yeah, she's amazing. That's
That's
how
what
I picture her. Yeah, for sure.
She's got to be almost in her 60s at this point.
She looks great.
She looks incredible.
Envious.
Ugh. Probably 50s, maybe 50s. I don't know.
We don't have to speculate that.
We don't need to speculate age.
It's okay.
We can move past that.
Gregory wonders why Violet never remarried and thinks about how his father had been dead for 24 plus years. That's crazy.
That's sad.
But he thinks about how Violet looks when she speaks about him and understands why she wants love for all of her children. And Gregory had always planned to marry for love, which was ironic given the farce with Hermione. This is funny. I feel like he's the only one that ever planned to marry for love. Or ever said that. Ever thought it. Or of the boys, I guess I meant.
Yeah.
Because Daphne, for sure. I mean, they all wanted to. All the girls wanted to.
For sure. Let's see. Let's go through it. Anthony didn't. He was like, whatever.
Yeah, he's like, or what is he? Who's the incomparable? Done.
Benedict, I think, did. I think he did.
Benedict, yeah, I think he did, but he was also happy with having Sophie as his mistress for his whole life.
For sure. That's fair.
That's not very romantic.
And then Colin, I don't even think Colin thought of any of that.
Yeah, he was afraid of marriage and afraid of coming out of his like bachelor stage and moving on with his life. So.
Yeah. I just don't think
I don't think he was.
He's like, if I ever like get struck by it, then great. But if I don't, like,
It is what it is. Yeah. I can travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That feels right.
There's a lot of, I feel like a couple of the girls too were like, I don't need love. I just need to be like content and have a good relationship.
Eloise wanted to.
She did.
Find love.
So who am I thinking of?
I don't know. Francesca, I think. I don't know. We never got anything about Francesca pre-John.
Yeah.
So I don't know like what.
I feel like I remember like a specific passage where someone was like, I don't need to marry for love.
That was Francesca, but that was after John.
In between.
She's like, I already found love. I will never find it again.
Yeah.
So
she just didn't believe, but she got there. Okay. Anyways.
But she believed in love.
Right. She just didn't believe she would find it again. Yeah. Okay. That's not that bad. It's not that. It wasn't that important. Anyways. Violet brings Gregory food and says, I know you're probably hungry, which is true. This is wild because Gregory doesn't have a kitchen in his apartments. So he eats at parties, his club, and the homes of his mother and siblings.
That shocked me to my core.
That was like honestly the most shocking thing that's happened in like 4 books.
At least.
What?
They don't have kitchens?
He has to leave his house 3 times a day to eat?
So does everyone who have their own bachelor pad not have kitchens? Like
I don't know.
Now that's my question. So like did Colin not have a kitchen? Did Gareth not have a kitchen? Like is this a normal thing?
No, I don't think it is normal. I think he didn't have like a full kitchen. He had some stuff, but they did mention that his apartment was just like small and like scarcely furnished.
Tiny little cute apartment.
So I don't know.
That is insane. I can't even compute that.
No,
in my
that
brain.
would be a nightmare. Having to leave all the time to find food.
I guess it does make sense if they don't know how to like work an oven. Like that's really their only
and it is
an
like
oven in the stove. That's really their
25, which is like I can't comprehend most things that happened in that year.
But that's the only way that they can cook.
Yeah,
it's not like they have a microwave
gas
or
oven.
like a refrigerator.
No, yeah.
So I guess that does check out.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Whoa,
what a stressful thing.
Don't bring me back to that time.
No, don't take me there.
Yeah, please, for the love of God, do not take me there.
Violet tells him that she's touched that he would come to her for help with Lucy. And then she tells him, you really don't turn to your family when you need something. And he's like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, finding yourself a wife. Haven't you ever thought that you needed help with that? And Gregory asks, what's wrong with preferring to do things on his own? And she says, nothing. I'm actually proud because 3 of you had to make your way on your own in this world with some help of Anthony, of course. And Anthony didn't have to because he was like handed the...
Yeah.
Is that what she meant?
Viscounts?
The Viscountcy? The Viscountdom?
The Viscountdom?
They talk about how generous... I have
no idea.
I don't know either.
Plural, yeah.
Let's move on. They talk about how generous Anthony is and how he was like Edmund. And Gregory says Anthony was a good father to me, which is really sad.
Oh.
And Violet started to cry a little bit, but she composes herself and says that was a really, really, really lovely thing to hear. And you'll know what I mean when you have children. And then he says that Anthony is not your father, though. And she brings up again how far apart Gregory is in age from the rest of his brothers and how he always wanted to be closer to them. And after many ramblings and long story short, that honestly went on for so long, she collects her thoughts and finally says, quote, you don't wish to ask for help because it is so important to you that your brothers see you as a man grown. And yet at the same time, well, life has come easily to you. So I don't think sometimes you don't try. And it's not that you refuse to try, just that most of the time you don't have to. And when something is going to require too much effort, it is something you cannot manage yourself. You decide that it is not worth the bother, which sounds exactly like what she said to Hyacinth.
See, this is such a weird conversation to have with Gregory, considering what he's like 20. He's what, 26 or 24?
Yeah, 26.
This feels more suitable if she had this conversation with Colin, not like the whole brother thing.
When he was like
but like the whole like
33,
everything's come easy to you, and when something doesn't seem worth it, you don't try. That would have been more suited, I feel like, to Colin, because he went 33 years without having a prospect. He just traveled.
No purpose.
He ran from everything. He ran from everything constantly. This man was running away from everyone and everything. So this doesn't feel suitable to Gregory because what?
Yeah, he's been doing fine. And he says many times, she's like, you don't come to my family for help. He's like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
I'm doing it right now. And she's like, that's not what I mean.
Yeah, not now.
She's like trying to project all these problems on him, like that aren't existing, I don't feel like.
This is a very weird, this is just so weird. It felt so out of place.
Yeah.
I think she's just trying to give Gregory some sort of conflict the way that the other ones have had. But I just don't think that he deserves this, because I just feel like I feel like I've gone to the wrong therapist.
Yeah,
like, I need my money back because this doesn't feel right.
I'm fine.
Because when did Benedict get married? 28, 29, maybe 30. Like, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was later than Gregory for sure. Yeah. And he didn't have a purpose to speak of whatsoever either until then.
Yeah.
So what?
I don't know. It was really weird. Gregory says he knows what it's like to work for something, to want it desperately, and to know that it might not be yours. And Violet asks, did you get it? And he said, no. And she says, I'm sorry. And he's like, I'm not anymore. And Violet says, okay. You're probably a better man for it anyways. Gregory wants to take offense, but instead he says, I believe you are correct. And then Violet's like, all right, you need to leave. I have to go call on Portia. Don't worry about Lady Lucinda. I got that shit covered. Before he leaves, he tells Violet she is a superb mother, and she says, you are no longer my darling boy, are you? And he says, quote, I am for as long as you wish it, mother, as long as you wish it. All the Violet stuff, which was weird stuff that time.
See, this is the only time I feel like Violet has really let me down. Hyacinth's made more sense than Gregory's.
Yeah.
Gregory's makes no sense whatsoever.
No.
I was confused
and
so much of this.
So is Gregory. I cut a lot of it out because it was just so long. Yeah. The whole passage.
Well, just like his conflict just doesn't make sense to what they've shown prior to this.
And it's
confused.
Not really a conflict throughout the whole thing. Anyways.
It's not consistent.
Chapter 16. When Gregory arrived at the soiree the next day, Daphne approached him and said, Lucy is indeed coming. And he's happy about that. He thinks about Hazelby. And here's where we learn the truth about Hazelby. He's gay.
I love that for
gosh.
him, except for the fact that he's in, 18, 20, whatever.
Yeah,
with
that sucks.
Having to go through it. But I love that for him.
Yeah, but what do they say? They don't say gay. They say he
prefers men, or he does not like women.
Yeah, he doesn't like women, but like not in the way that he's going to like beat them. Just
Yeah. Sexually or like romantically, he does not prefer women.
Yeah, Gregory says he prefers men, and that was the most straightforward thing that we got.
Yeah.
Anyways, then he's like, should Lucy be told about this? He thinks Hazelby wouldn't beat Lucy. He wouldn't be unkind, but he would not be a husband to her.
No.
And it didn't seem fair because Lucy, of all people, did not deserve that. She should have a house full of children and dogs and maybe a cat and flowers. The delphinium. Think about the delphinium.
Oh.
She ought to have a house full to manage because that's what she's good at. He doesn't see Lucy at the ball yet. She's probably not there yet, but his mother is. And she asks, has Lucy arrived yet? And Gregory said, nope, not yet. And then Violet is like, weird that I haven't met her yet, that you're making such an effort for her to come. And she says it with such a casualness, he can tell that she's digging for information. And he says she's engaged to be married, mom, in 1 week, mom.
And also, why didn't they talk about this the last conversation they had at the house?
Because she was just so excited to have something to do. I don't know. She didn't even think about it. I don't know. And Violet was like, oh, yeah, I got an invitation to that wedding.
Yeah.
And they talk about weddings and blah, 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 blah. And then came the voice. That's what Gregory said. And it was just Hyacinth.
Yeah.
She wants to know who's getting married. And they tell her it's Lucy. And she's like, oh, yeah, I got an invitation to that wedding. Gregory notes a couple times in this chapter how Hyacinth is just glancing around the room as she does, which is funny. It transfers to his book.
I now call it the Hyacinth glance because I do it too. Like, I do that too. I'll scan, like it's like scanning the, like, an area. And I don't know what I'm looking for. I just like to have a clock on everything that's happening. Or if there's any tea or anything like that. I think I do it subconsciously, but I now call it the Hyacinth scan or like the Hyacinth like glance, like about the
Hyacinth scan. That's a good one. Yeah. Hyacinth also notes that it's odd that she hasn't met Lady Lucinda yet. And Gregory says, well, she's not out like on the marriage mart. And Violet's like, well, this will be her debut. How exciting, even though she's engaged.
Yeah.
Hyacinth wants to know how they met. And her and Gregory start arguing, and Violet rolls her eyes and says, every day I marvel that the two of you managed to reach adulthood. And then Gregory's like, afraid we'd kill each other. And she said, no, that I'd do the job myself, which was funny. Hyacinth continues to press Gregory for answers about how he knows Lucy, etc., etc. And finally, he tells her that they were introduced at Kate and Anthony's, and how he saw her yesterday at the park and how her uncle had denied her season, etc., etc., etc. Hyacinth and Violet clearly look like they have some words to say. They're like looking at each other like, But Gregory's like, do I look like I'm trying to put a halt to their nuptials? And Hyacinth thinks about it for a second and she's like, yeah, I guess not, but I still want to meet her. Then Violet says that Kate said that she was lovely, that Lucy was lovely, and Kate writes to Violet twice a month. So Violet knows that Lucy's brother was caught in a compromising position with Hermione. And she's like, yeah, it was quite the scandal. And Gregory was like, actually, it was like whatever. It was hush hush.
It was like not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it was like not anything.
I was there.
Yeah, it wasn't anything.
It wasn't even anything.
Gregory excuses himself. But Violet says, wait, would you be my escort to Lady Lucinda's wedding? And he has a bad taste in his mouth. But he says, I'm not going to the wedding. I wasn't invited. Why wasn't he invited? Like, Uncle Robert and Lady Davenport. Lord Davenport didn't know about him. Why wasn't he invited? But finally, Gregory slips away. He makes his way to the receiving line to try and find Lucy now that more people were there. And he runs into Lord Travelstam. Do you remember him?
No.
He was one of the guys that was approached Michael to tell him that he was going to court Francesca. He was the yellow rose guy, I'm pretty sure. But the conversation is short because Gregory is distracted by the back of a woman's head. And he's like, oh my God, no, not again. He's being pulled toward her as if by a rope. And he's thinking, dear God, could a man fall insanely, stupidly in love twice? It was just as it had been with Hermione. No, it was worse. He wanted to jump out of his skin, run across the room to see her. And he's like, are you fucking stupid, Gregory? This is crazy. And then she turns around and it's Lucy. Thank God.
Yeah, fucking finally.
And he's like, Lucy? It can't be Lucy.
Only took 16 fucking chapters.
Yeah, she didn't do this to me. And then all of his memories from the house party come back. Her mannerisms, her facial expressions, the way it felt to sit on a bench with her. He still dreamed about the kiss, and he hoped that she dreamed about it too. And then Lucy saw him and smiled at him. And he walked toward her and greeted her by her first name, which is not custom, as we know. And she greeted him back, but she said, Mr. Bridgerton. And he could see in her eyes that she wanted to say Gregory. And this was the moment he knew that he loved her. And he said, Lady Lucinda, may I have this dance? And the rest is history. Which one of us hates it?
I absolutely adore a man who falls in love with your best friend and then you. That's so
It was
hot.
only for like a day and a half.
Oh my God, no, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
It's a day and a half too fucking long, in my opinion. It's a day and a half too long. It was like 3 days, but it's still too long. And yeah. Anyways, chapter 17. It was heaven. Oh, dancing in the arms of the person you love. Just kidding. I guess he does love her now or whatever.
He does.
She thought about what people would say, but for tonight, she didn't care. For one night, she didn't want to be weighed down by overanalyzing and worrying. She just wanted to be in the moment at this ball. She looked at Gregory and noticed he was looking at her the way that he had once looked at Hermione, her best friend. She felt herself start to get excited. And they were talking during the dance, and she said she felt different tonight, and he said that he also felt different. She, of course, was wondering what the heck that could mean. And they finished the dance, their eyes never leaving each other.
Oh.
And he started to lead her to the side of the ballroom to her aunt that is like deaf and blind.
Aunt Harriet.
Oh, yeah.
Love her.
That is brought down by some illness. Yeah. Is that illness? Ailment? Illness.
You combine.
My bad. It's one of the two. He told her that he needed to speak with her privately. He whispered this, like not just like out loud, by the way. He's speaking like,
he's like,
I need to speak with you privately, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He told her to meet him in the library in 30 minutes. She tried to say no. She asked if he was mad, but he insisted. Just then, Hyacinth popped up, and she wanted to meet Lucy. After exchanging names, Hyacinth took a long look at the both of them, assessing. Before she said, you will need my help.
She knew. She clocked. She's like, you're going to need my help.
She clocked it immediately.
I see what's going on here.
Yeah. Lucy and Gregory were struck dumb by how quickly Hyacinth had uncovered their plan to meet.
See, she's not stupid.
Who, Hyacinth?
Yeah, and so the things that, like in her book, that they were like pitying her for the things she was saying. She would never do that.
She would never do that. She's far too socially smart. Socially educated.
Smart.
Yep.
She's street smart.
Yeah, exactly. They tried to deny it at first, but really it was Hyacinth, and she knows everything.
Mm-hmm.
Hyacinth said they will need her help this night and after.
Oh.
Gregory told Hyacinth he needed a moment alone with Lucy. Hyacinth formed a plan. They will meet in an hour in Daphne's dressing room. Gregory will dance and mingle until then. Hyacinth will go with Lady Lucinda to introduce her to everyone. And in 55 minutes, Hyacinth will rip Lucy's dress and they will go to, quote, fix it. Before they departed, Hyacinth told Gregory to dance with a particular young lady whose parents have been dangling for him for months. And this is, I want to draw a comparison to this, by the way, and this is a direct quote. Lucy thought to herself, then he went off, presumably to dote on some poor, unsuspecting female who had no idea she was nothing but an innocent pawn in his sister's master plan. An innocent pawn.
Yeah.
After she literally almost tore apart Gareth Sinclair because he made her a pawn in his game. And now she's making people pawns in her game.
It's a cycle
of abuse.
Of something. Of innocent pawns.
Isn't that nuts though?
Yeah, that's good.
I was like, no way Hyacinth's next book starts making people pawns. That makes me sad. It's all right. It's like, you know
what? And I would be that girl being dangled in front of Gregory.
100%. Hyacinth's like, do as I say, not as I do. That's her motto, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
Hyacinth, this is reason one why I don't like Hyacinth in this book. And there's going to be multiple reasons.
Okay.
That's just reason one. Hyacinth and Lucy bond over how they are both extremely managing. An hour later, Lucy was in Daphne's dressing room. The plan went off without a hitch. During the hour with Hyacinth, Lucy learns that Gregory had a lisp as a child, and I had to put that in. She learns a lot more about Gregory, but I had to put that in.
Hyacinth just starts spewing facts about Gregory. Like, what the heck? He has a lisp?
He has a lisp?
So that passage from Hyacinth's book when he was like making fun, he was just like talking with the lisp.
He was talking with the lisp, but we didn't know that he actually did have a lisp as a child.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense.
I that was actually the one part of this book that I do love. Like, I'm not even joking. I was like, he had a fucking lisp.
That was so funny. So was he making fun of himself, or was he just like talking like they were children? I don't get it.
I don't really know, but I just know that I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't
get the joke, but it's
not
funny
anything
still.
That I'm going to complain about.
Yeah.
Compared to the rest of the stuff in these
I'm
books.
thoroughly. I do not understand, but I love it all the same.
It was great.
Yeah,
it was great.
They had gotten to the dressing room before Gregory, which gave Hyacinth enough time to fix Lucy's dress. During the time that she's like stitching up the dress, Lucy asks why Hyacinth is helping her. She's to be married in 1 week.
Hyacinth, why are you helping me? I'm getting married soon.
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
why are you doing this? I can't marry your brother.
This doesn't make any sense. Hyacinth is being very nonchalant. She says, I know, I was invited. And Lucy is trying to explain that the papers have been signed. My uncle chose him, and your brother has made no promises to me. Hyacinth replies with, hasn't he? This stops Lucy in her tracks. She was a practical person who had never believed in love. Now this was happening, and she wasn't the type of person to color outside the lines. She told Hyacinth, I don't think I can do it. Hyacinth looks at her and simply says, I misjudged you. This throws Lucy for another loop. She just keeps getting thrown for loops.
Oh.
When she's self-loathing in her mind, Hyacinth starts like pricking her with the needle.
Yeah, like accidentally on purpose.
Yeah, I feel like it's 100% on purpose.
Oh yeah, for
she's
sure.
like, stop moving and you won't get pricked by the needle.
Yeah,
it's just like,
or she's just careless and just like, whatever, I'm doing this.
And this is reason too why I didn't like Hyacinth in this book.
Okay, but she did plant the seed that Lucy can be stronger.
Yeah, but the reason she did, the way she did it was really, really rough.
Well, sometimes people need that harsh love, the tough love.
But she did. I feel like here's my genuine thought about that, right? Like I'm a person that likes to give tough love. I think it's important at times, but I would never, ever, ever, ever give tough love to someone that I don't already have built a rapport and trust with.
Right.
It just would not be a thing. Because I just don't feel like you have any ability to judge whether someone is able to listen and take tough love unless you know them as a person. Because it can be very off-putting if someone can't handle tough love or doesn't like tough love.
Yeah, but she's not doing it. Hyacinth isn't doing it for Lucy. She's doing it for Gregory.
Yeah, but if she's doing it for Gregory, and what if Lucy didn't like tough love and it would have turned her off? She would have in turn hurt
her fault.
Gregory.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I say I don't necessarily.
It's a risk.
It's a huge risk, and I don't think that she should have been that. And I think that she's the kind of person that will say stuff, and she just is like, do you know those kinds of people that's like, I'm someone who tells the truth. If you don't like it, then leave.
Yeah, those people kind of suck. If you don't like
it, that's how I kind of feel about this.
I'm a bitch, and it's fine.
Yeah, I say that you're just mad because I just tell the truth. It's like you can tell the truth, but still be
in a tactful and respectful way.
Exactly. And this doesn't feel tactful and respectful.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I agree. Okay. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah. It reminds me of my my cousin's relationship. So my cousin, it's a good story. So they were together and they were obviously in love. They broke up, and then her brother came to my cousin and was like, what are you doing? Like, you guys love each other. Like, go back to her. And that convinced him to go back to her. Yeah. And then he later passed away in a motorcycle accident. And so they always have that as him seeing that and just being giving them tough love. What the actual fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what it reminded me of. So maybe that's why I have a soft spot.
Yeah, I do get it. I think that there's a hey, what are you doing? You guys love each other. This is so silly. As opposed to I misjudged you. I thought that you were the type of person that was bold, and that sort of implication. Where you're almost
just
insulting.
had met her 30 minutes prior. That's true. It's different, but It's a bug.
I know. I do get what you're saying, though. I do get what you're saying. After she was finished and Lucy saw how bad Hyacinth's stitches were, she tells her she might have said something about how bad her needlework was.
Like, I could have done this myself.
I literally would have just done it myself. The fuck? It was so bad. It was so
hilarious.
bad. Hyacinth's like, no one, everyone will just be like, okay, it's fine. Like, whatever.
No one
Lucy's
will care.
like, this is literally atrocious. I'm going to get kicked out of the ball. Hyacinth notes that Lucy has gone prickly all of a sudden. Lucy tells her that she's been hurtful, but Hyacinth still plans to help Lucy and Gregory. And she tells Lucy that she hopes that she misjudged herself. You're rude, Hyacinth, but it's fine. Gregory was late to the secret meeting.
For the plot.
Yeah, for the plot. What does Hyacinth being mean have to do for the plot, though? Does it really drive anything forward?
I don't know. It gets Lucy thinking. It gets her wheels turning.
I suppose. I suppose. Gregory was late to the secret meeting because he unexpectedly had to dance with a bunch of eligible ladies.
Shit.
He danced with one, he got to dance with all. When he got there, he noticed Lucy was upset and he was immediately annoyed at Hyacinth.
Like, what'd you do to her?
Because he knew
Hyacinth, God damn it.
He knew that she had said something rude. Mm-hmm. But Hyacinth just tells him that she'll be in the other room far from the door. So, like, do what you got to do. I won't be listening, I think.
She will.
Probably will. Lucy assures him Hyacinth didn't do anything wrong, that she said the thing that she needed to hear. I hate that I wrote that.
That just contradicts everything.
I hate that I literally actively contradicted myself in my own notes. So
it's
annoying.
okay. No, opinions change day to day.
Literally within a couple of notes. I'm like red. I'm embarrassed about it.
I'm embarrassed about that.
I don't like being wrong.
Oh my God.
Especially
so
to
funny.
myself.
It's not wrong. It's just, it literally, though, it can change.
I do feel like she still rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like, even if it was what she needed to hear,
And
I
that's
still
fair.
feel like it was.
That's fair.
But it's also complemented by other things that she's done too. That's why.
Okay. Yeah. Which we haven't gotten to yet.
He then starts his speech with Lucy. Lucy. Just like over and over.
Just like Gareth did.
Just like Gareth did.
Hyacinth.
It's like
Get it out.
I know my name. Okay.
Spit it out.
Yeah. Then he tells her she can't marry Hazelby. It's still wrong in my notes. So funny, I can't. It will be a disaster for you. You won't be happy. You are my friend and I wish for your happiness. She asked him why. Why? What's wrong with him? He told her that Hazelby prefers the company of men.
No. Oh. She's like, what do you mean? I've never heard of that.
Literally, what?
Yeah.
Shocked for the 100th time tonight, Lucy asks him, why? Why? Why did you tell me? Why did you say it? She tells him that she could have been happy with Hazelby, but he ruined it by making her want him.
Yeah. He is.
Yeah. And he tells her to kiss him. They kiss, and it's amazing, and it's passionate. Gregory tells her again that she can't marry Hazelby because he loves her. He says he only just realized it, that he was a blind man. She tells him not to beat himself up over it. No one notices her when Hermione is about.
Don't worry. I'm always floating around in the background near Hermione.
Everyone always likes Hermione. It's fine. I get it. He says that Hermione doesn't hold a candle to her. That's hilarious.
Not anymore.
Because literally, no, he didn't say anymore. He just says Hermione can't hold a candle to her, which is a joke because literally earlier in the book, he said that Lucy was a candlestick and Hermione was a diamond, a rare precious jewel. So that's funny. That's funny. That's a joke. Funny out loud, haha joke. Okay.
Moving on.
This apparently is enough to make Lucy believe that she could break off her engagement with Hazelby. She could have a marriage for love and passion and not just practicality. She tells him she will speak to her uncle tomorrow. He asks if she'd like him there when she speaks with her uncle so he can reassure him of his intentions. And she asks, what are your intentions?
Yeah, what good question. Good point.
It's actually good. I'm glad you brought this up. And he gets down on one knee and asks if she'd do the honor of being his wife. And she said, of course.
Oh, she said yes this time.
Yes, of course. Please, yes. Hyacinth knocks to let them know that it's time to head back to the ballroom. She asks if her hair is okay. Like Lucy does. She's like, is my hair okay? Because they just like made out. And he tells her that she looks perfect. When Lucy opens the door to let Hyacinth in, Hyacinth looks at Gregory and then at Lucy and then gave Lucy a look again, like in question, like, how did this go? And Lucy tells her that she did not misjudge her.
That's good. I love it.
Sure.
If you feel like you never want to finish a book, don't finish it.
Google the ending.
Just Google the ending.
Just Google the ending.
Just stop reading. It's already in your head. And Google the ending.
Type the title in your phone on Google and hit enter.
Ending.
And then read what the ending is. On
Title,
Google.
ending, search.
Yeah. How does this book end?
And then it's going to be super interesting. You're going to finish it anyways.
and then if it intrigues you, finish it. Finish it more. It's not that hard. Like, what are we doing? All right. We are going to pop open our NÜTRLs.
Yeah, vodka, seltzer, real juice. It is watermelon flavored.
This one is more comparable to White Claw, and I mean like in level of flavor. Like that could have been a White Claw. Like if you put that, it blindfolded me and had me drink a White Claw, like a watermelon White Claw and a watermelon NÜTRL. I don't know if I'd be able to tell.
I don't know either. We should do that. It's good. I don't usually like watermelon things, but it's good.
Yeah, it is good. It's just, I mean, if it to me
similar.
It tastes exactly like a White Claw.
It's nothing outstanding or different in its field.
Chapter 18. Lucy was standing outside of her uncle's office, giving herself a pep talk. Normally, she was not shy or fearful, but when it came to her uncle, she was different. She took a breath to steady herself and knocked. And he told her, enter.
Oh,
that's how I picture.
Get out.
Enter.
He's like facing the wall in his swivel chair.
I picture him like giant, like oak desk, and he's just like hunched over it, like in his papers with like you know, just like a unibrow, probably
furrowed brows.
Yeah, furrowed in one of them along his face, which is not a problem. It's just what I picture.
Yeah, it's okay to have a unibrow. Don't get us wrong.
Yeah. When she came in, he had his nose buried in papers and he did not bother looking up. She tried to get his attention by calling his name, but he only looked up after the third. Uncle Robert.
Like, what the fuck, Robert? Like, you invited her in.
Uncle Robert. Like,
he's like, what the fuck do you want?
Give me some eye contact, please. She told him that they needed to have a conversation about Lord Hazelby. He asked what the problem was, and she said, "Hey, so did you know that like he doesn't like women?
He like literally won't like me, like ever?
Yeah,
like there's no chance.
I don't know how to broach this, but like women, not his vibe. Did you happen to know that, or is this just like a?"
Yeah, what are we thinking, Uncle? What's going on?
What are we thinking about this? And he said, "Well, of course I did. But he would treat her gently, and that's better than most women get. And she should be thanking him."
Oh my God.
Yeah, he said something about like most men are brutes. Like you should be lucky that you're getting one of the men that are not brutes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And that's probably the way that a lot of the women back then thought.
You know, and honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And that's really, really, really sad.
Yeah.
And take me out of the 1800s.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
like your husband could have potentially been Philip. So it's like, count your lucky stars.
Yeah.
Seriously. No, it's seriously sad though. He goes, "Do you know how many women would like to take your place?" And she told him that wasn't the point.
Oh my God, though.
She didn't wish to marry him because she wanted children. He told her that wouldn't be a problem. Hazelby may not like women, but he will do the job enough to sire a child. And if he failed, then Davenport will take care of it. Lord Davenport is Hazelby's father.
Yeah, and that literally made me throw up. I went in the bathroom and threw up. No, I'm just kidding.
But no, it is so unbelievably horrific.
It really is. And for him to just sit there and tell her that like casually, like it's like she's just an object.
Yeah, as a father figure in her life for so many years.
Yeah,
I mean, not that he's been like a gentle father figure, but he's been
figure.
Yeah,
but
he's been a stand-in father figure. Yeah,
and I thought for a second that he was gonna say that he was gonna.
Oh no!
I was like, no, where's this going? Where's this going? Where's this going? And it honestly, that's not where it actually went. Was not much better.
Well, because he said that it would still be of the Davenport bloodline.
Yeah.
So
Ugh.
that would just be fine.
That's horrible.
This obviously horrifies Lucy. Her uncle tells her, we all have our roles in life. Hers is to sire an heir. She tells him that she won't do it. She won't marry him. He says, quote, how dare you question me? I have raised you, fed you, given you every bloody thing you need. I have looked after and protected this family for 10 years when none of it will come to me.
That's like, okay, so why are you doing that, Uncle Robert?
Yeah.
What's in it for you? Literally nothing.
Nothing. I would be worried about Richard's well-being because, like, I'm surprised that he didn't come for Richard.
Yeah, like kill him?
To take him out. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. This isn't Game of Thrones, though, so.
Well, you know, Game of Thrones is based off of actual history. Like,
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
world history.
Why isn't there? We get snippets like in Francesca's book where they were like so concerned about her pregnancy and like we have to watch her in case like she steals a baby or like whatever, like weird things like that. And that stuff happens, but not to the Bridgertons.
Yeah, it does seem plausible that like he would be plotting some sort of like rise to the title. Yeah.
It'd be an easier route than doing what he's doing. No, it wouldn't. Maybe not.
Yeah, we can talk about that more.
Yeah.
Let's put a pin on that because I have thoughts, but I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, okay, no spoilers.
He says that she will marry Hazelby and they will never speak of this again. She was again shocked and horrified, and he asked if this was about the Bridgerton idiot. She says yes, and he had known because of Violet and Daphne's request for Lucy to be at the ball.
Okay.
He asked if he's even made any promises of marriage, and then he asks if he's let him touch her. She blushes thinking about the kiss that they shared.
Oh my gosh.
And she didn't respond because of that, because that's what she thought he meant.
Yeah.
And Uncle Robert blows up on her. He calls her a stupid cow and says it's a good thing that Hazelby won't know a virgin from a whore. That's like a direct quote.
Yeah. I remember him saying whore.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck?
Crazy. He tells her that she will marry Hazelby and she can't leave this house if he has to post guards at her door. Like, she's not going anywhere.
That's not okay.
She asks why she can't marry for love. And this right here, this somehow was Uncle Robert's last straw. He lunged at her, pinning her up against the wall. I think we're constricting her airways because she mentioned how she couldn't breathe.
Oh my gosh.
She begged him to stop with the little breath that she did have. And he tells her that this will settle a long-standing debt between him and Davenport. That he was blackmailing the family because her father was a traitor.
Against the country.
He sold secrets to the French during the war, the Napoleonic War.
Which is a big deal.
Which was apparently a really big deal. Far bigger than I could have even comprehended at the time.
Me too. At any time.
At any time. She tries to deny it. She says, my father's not a traitor. There's no way.
Yeah, I knew him for 8 years.
Yeah. But Uncle Robert says that Davenport has cold, hard proof that he verified himself. They were letters with her father's seal. He has been secretly paying Davenport all these years, and this marriage will be the end. She will be the obedient bride to Hazelby, and she will never spill Hazelby's secrets of being obviously gay. And once they are married into Lucy's family, if the secret of the treason comes out, both families will be ruined and disgraced. And honestly, like more than that, even most of them would probably put to death.
Yeah, by firing squad.
Somehow, yeah. She tried to wrap her head around everything. They didn't need the money. Her father had done it for the thrill. But she believed her uncle was telling the truth. So she realized that if she didn't marry Hazelby, her family would go down. The title taken away from her brother and all their money and possessions being taken by the crown as well. He had just married Hermione and they were happy. She could suffer a content life to ensure the happiness of the two people she loved the most in this world.
So selfless.
And it's honestly very relatable.
Yeah, she's a people pleaser.
100%. She said that she would marry Hazelby. She didn't cry when she got back to her room. In the next 2 days, Gregory called on her and she did not respond. She saw him the day before her wedding looking up into her room. He saw her too, like they made eye contact, I think, and she quickly dropped the curtains. She was shaky and panicked, and after a while of being frozen in shock by the window, she went to lay down and she finally cried.
Dang.
That was heavy.
Yeah, that's
a heavy chapter.
It's not fun. It's not good stuff. It's bleak.
It's very bleak.
It's morbid.
It's sad.
Not fun.
Depressing.
Like, no.
So now we move into the next chapter where there's sex.
Turn things around.
And I'm not kidding. Chapter 19. It was Friday and Gregory was desperate. 3 times he had called on Lucy. 3 times he'd been turned away. He knew that she loved him without a shadow of a doubt. He had been waiting for her to leave her house, hoping to catch her while running errands, but she never came out. She never left the house.
No, because Uncle Robert wouldn't let her.
Then he saw her through her window, but she had quickly moved and closed the curtains, which could only mean one thing. Something was wrong. Was she being held against her will? Was she drugged? He had until tomorrow. Tomorrow was her wedding to Hazelby. He had always had an easy life. Things came easy to him. He didn't really have to work hard, but he knew that when something worth fighting for came around, he'd be willing to do anything. Quote.
Anything.
Yeah. Quote, it was true that he had never had to work very hard at anything, but that was only part of the story. He was not indolent. He would work his fingers to the very bone if only he had a reason.
A purpose.
He was waiting for love. Now it was time to act, to work hard. He walked across the street and snuck to the service entrance, which was thankfully unlocked. Could that be fate? Question mark? That's what he's thinking to himself.
Oh my gosh, is this fate?
Yeah. Am I meant to be here? He crept inside and made his way to the part of the house he had seen Lucy in, like where he had imagined like her room, because he knew where her.
Yeah, he was like,
looked
6
in the
windows
window.
across, 3 windows up. This has got to be it.
Right. This was dangerous. If he was caught, he'd be breaking the law. His brother's title would keep him from the gallows, but not from punishment.
Wow.
Because he was breaking in technically to an earl's house.
Yeah, that's not good. The gallows is crazy.
Potential, yeah, that'd be potential gallows if it was anyone else whose brother didn't have a title.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
He found the room he thought was hers and gently opened the door and walked inside. It was dark and there was no sound, and he figured Lucy slept like a log. He knew she did because he knew her somehow.
You just knew. You just know that kind of thing when you love somebody.
Yeah, but like not the trivial things though, like her favorite color and like stuff about that.
No,
but like but other than he knew her, right? Yeah. Like you don't need to know her favorite color to know someone. He went to the bed and drew back the curtains, and no one was there. Then a candlestick came hurtling at his head, and he swore. Lucy then called out to Gregory. She asked what he was doing there. She gets married tomorrow.
What the fuck, Gregory?
Gregory, why are you here? He tells her that's why he's here. She says he should go, but he tells her not until she speaks with him. Then he tells her he loves her. I love you. I love you. I love you. Lucy asks him to stop, begs for him to stop. She's marrying Hazelby tomorrow, but he asks her to be with him, that she won't be happy with Hazelby. She can't marry him. She tells him that she will be content. And that's
most women could hope for.
Seriously, he's not going to beat me at least. I know that.
It's going to be fine. I'm not going to get physically abused every day.
That's great.
It's going to be great. It's the bar.
He's definitely not going to assault me sexually because we know that there's no way he would want to.
Yeah.
So that's a plus. Yeah. That is a huge plus though. Like I'm being so serious.
I know, and it's really sad and hard to actually
digest
talk about that seriously.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. No, I agree. He can't believe that would be enough for her, that she wouldn't fight for love. Did she not love him enough? He asked if being countess was really that important to her.
Because he doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ugh. And she said yes, but he knew she was lying because it took her like a long time to say that. Yeah, because he knows her. He tells her that he loves her, that they belong together. He begs her to tell him what is wrong. She's disassociated up until he asks what's wrong, and then she begs him not to say that. Anything but that. He can tell that she's not herself, so he just repeats her name over and over. Lucy, Lucy, Lucy.
Lucy, what is going on?
Lucy, 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 please. He says, let me kiss you one more time. If you tell me to go, I swear I will. She loved him. She desired him. In less than a day, she would be married to a man who would never even wish to kiss her. She would never feel this toe-curling, stomach-fluttering passion. And he said her name, and in response, she tells him to kiss her.
Oh.
So, like, they're, like, telling each other to kiss each other.
One night. Kiss me. No, you kiss me.
No, you kiss me. I didn't realize that until you go back to the notes. And you're like, what?
It's so funny.
Later, when she looked back on this, she knew that she could not blame this decision on passion. This decision was hers, and she made it. Ooh. And he kissed her, telling her that he loved her as he kissed her collarbone, like down her collarbone. They were bittersweet words, and for the first time, she felt utterly selfish. She was lying to him, knowing he would think this meant that she planned to end her engagement with Hazelby. She was emboldened by this fire in her and grabbed his face to kiss her. They slide back on the bed, and he was on top of her. She felt like a goddess. She told him that she loved him and that she wanted to be his tonight. And that's like, she's like, I want to be yours. Well, tonight.
Listen to my words.
Listen. Tonight. Okay. He kissed her and went frantic with desire. He ripped off his shirt, and he was not in control, but neither was she. She admired his body, and he grabbed her hand and put it on his chest. Like, feel my heart.
Check this out.
Literally.
It is. Do you feel not on his? Wait. Well,
just wait.
Okay.
Sorry, that was a lot. They kissed, and he took off her nightgown. He admired her as he straddled her. So she's laying down, he's straddling her. He gave some much needed attention to her boobs, licking and nipping at them with his teeth. Okay. Then he asked her to touch him anywhere. And then he fingered him, and she like was feeling around him and then found his D. And like for the first time, we see a woman messing with the man's D.
Yeah, but he didn't press up against her and was like, you see what
feel
you
the
do
evidence
to
of my desire.
Yes. Which is so refreshing. Like, thank you so much, Gregory. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But like he must have twitched a little bit because she jerked away really fast, and he grabbed her hand and wrapped it around his D again and said, this is how much I want you with everything I have and everything I am. So this is worse than what you just said.
Yeah, but she felt it first.
That's fair. He said, no. This is how much I want you.
What are you doing?
Grab that hand, put it back where you had it. Okay.
You feel this?
Yeah, you feel that? Evidence of my desire? I want you, girl. They exchanged I love yous, and he slowly enters her, trying to make sure that she has a good first time. She didn't feel any pain, or if she did, no one could tell.
Yeah.
It was all just moans of pleasure. And they both came together, and he again said, I love you. Those 3 words were his companion now. Companions. All 3 of them. Good for him.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. Those 3 words were his companions.
That's weird. Is that the end of the chapter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank God.
What did you think about it?
There wasn't nearly enough foreplay, in my opinion. Okay. It was short. It felt shorter than the others. I don't think it sucked. Like I liked that they introduced like her kind of fondling him a little bit. Yeah. I liked that.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for like that for like a woman to kind of engage, because even Francesca, who had experience,
was reluctant.
Was reluctant to touch Michael's D.
I think Francesca was just afraid because she had felt so much desire for him and was just confused as to why and guilty.
Yeah, but she did a striptease and like played with her titties. Like she can't touch his penis.
Come on, Francesca.
Yeah, like you know what I mean?
I'm sure she got there.
I don't know. I do like that, but it felt really short. Like it felt way shorter than the other sex scenes. Maybe it's just me. Like I don't really know.
I think it was short because they described that they just like were like, and they did that all night. So they just like summed it up kind of.
Yeah.
But I liked it. It just felt really desperate and really passionate. And I like that they didn't really harp on the virginity thing too much. It's like if she obviously was a virgin, and if she had felt pain, I didn't know because it was just so much passion, I would say.
Yeah, I like that too. But it also doesn't feel realistic with the amount of foreplay that they actually did. Like, he warmed her up in the span of a minute. Like her wrapping her hand around his D, she was like, "I'm wet for you right now, baby." Like
that's not a thing for me, at least.
No, that's a crazy thing. So I don't know. I do agree. Like it felt like one of those passionate, quick like sexual escapades you have when you're just like, oh my God, like so wrapped up in the moment, and it is fast.
Yeah.
But also I just, it feels misplaced. Like it would have been better, I think, with Francesca.
I liked it a lot.
With the Francesca sex scene.
Yeah, Francesca's story bothers me. Just when I think back, we can get into it later. Chapter 20.
Okay.
I did write a bunch of stuff down, so.
Okay, good.
Chapter 20. Gregory and Lucy have brief moments of sleep in between their passionate lovemaking all night long before Gregory has to go. He had every intention to marry Lucy as soon as possible, but he was not going to put her through the humiliation of being caught in bed with another man. Hazelby also did not deserve that kind of public humiliation. Gregory wakes Lucy up and says it's morning, and all she says is yes. And he's like, he was hoping for more enthusiasm, but whatever.
Yeah, it is.
He thinks that all that had happened last night showed him how deeply she cared for him. She's going to call off the wedding. He says, come with me right now. Like, we can leave together. And she says, I can't. I must do the right thing. I must behave with honor. I cannot sneak away and allow Hazelby to wait in vain at the church. Surely you understand that. He tells her that he'll be watching her in case she needs his help. And Lucy's like, no, I'll be fine. I promise that nothing. And he cuts her off and says, this will be our hand signal.
What was the hand signal again? Wasn't it
I think it's just like this. Fingers splayed. Oh, doing this?
It like a turn too?
Let me see. Let me see what I wrote.
Like,
this will be our hand. It's the universal sign for help, but with fingers splayed. Is this help? Oh, stop.
I thought they turned the hand.
Maybe. It should be something different, like a clap and like a snap and a turn. Like, do that in the window. Imagine, if you need my help, just jump around 3 times.
Could you imagine if she would have actually done it? Whoa.
Yeah.
Everyone would be like, has she been taking something?
She just starts doing gymnastics.
Has she been eating the lead fucking makeup? Yeah, that we put on people's faces. Yeah.
Anyways, he's like, this will be our hand signal. And he says, I'll watch you. And if you need help, come to the window and make the signal. I'll be watching. She opened her mouth like she was going to say something, but instead she just nodded. He looks out the window and the sun is just starting to show color in the sky. And together they look at the sunrise, and never had he experienced a single moment that was so magical, so full. Finally, he understood the difference between happiness and contentment, and how lucky and blessed he was to feel both in such breathtaking quantities. And I think that was, I did that verbatim. It was better in the book. But like you said earlier, there's like a lot of really good imagery
I agree.
Written in these books. And that was one of the scenes that was really good.
The book is written well.
Yeah, it is. He tells her he loves her, and she sounds like she's holding back tears when she tells him she loves him too. And he asks one more time, are you sure you don't want to come with me? And she says she must do this for herself. He asks if her uncle will hurt her when she tells him. And she's like, oh, no, he won't. Because she knows that he won't, because she already told him. And he asks, will he try to force you to marry Hazelby? Lock you in your room? Because I could stay if you think you need me right here. I could remain right here. He tells her to leave her completely and utterly, goes against his every instinct. He thinks today was the day he truly became a man. 26 years of an aimless existence, he had finally found his purpose. To protect Lucy.
Aww.
He finally knew why he had been born. He had sworn his heart to protect her, and leaving is like acid in his chest. He tells her, if you sense danger, please signal me. Do the hand signal. 3 jumping jacks, a spin, and a snap.
Yeah. So I'm like mentally preparing for what's to come, because it's such a hard situation. Like, it's so hard to what's to come.
You are? Okay.
I hated it. It gave me like the worst, like, secondhand embarrassment.
What pisses me, okay, we'll get into it. He tells her, if you sense danger, please signal me. I will come to you. You can take refuge with my mother or any one of my sisters. They won't mind the scandal. They would only care for your happiness, which is so true.
Hyacinth would have taken her in a second.
Yeah. Like
100%.
Oh my God, because her and Gregory are so close.
Yeah.
She says sadly that his family, your family must be really lovely. And he says, well, they'll be your family really soon. And she just says the servants will be waking shortly. And so he left. He thinks he would never break the promise of protecting her, and if he had to resort to force, he could certainly use an extra set of hands. He thinks about how he'd never asked his brothers for help for like in a sticky situation, although he would have if he needed. And I think he's like, I've been gambling, I've been to like brothels and stuff, but I've been drinking a lot, or you know, I've gone out drinking, but it's never been so bad that where I've had to ask my brothers for help.
Yeah. It just feels like he's just never needed his brothers.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that he's
just
reluctant.
been like kind
he's
of
just never
responsible.
needed it. Yeah.
He's just a little bit more responsible than the others.
Yeah. Like, what would he have asked anyone for? I don't know.
Right. And they're like, what the fuck, Gregory?
Why don't you ever ask us for anything ever?
And it's like
It's like, I just haven't needed you. Like, I'm not trying to be rude.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm responsible and like doing well.
Sorry, I like make good decisions. Like, do you want me to make bad decisions?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Does Angie need a reason to like bitch me out about duty and responsibility?
Yeah,
when
I'm
really
6 and
I'm
20.
very
Like,
fucking responsible?
Yeah. He thinks that his brothers have always seen him as a boy, even now at 26. Which I don't know, whatever. But today he was going to ask one of his brothers for help. He thought about running to Colin's because it was only like a quarter mile away or whatever. But there's like a chimney sweep walking by who is a 12 or 13-year-old boy. And he pays him to go get Colin because Lord knows he can use the money. And then he climbed a tree to be hidden from Farnsworth House and waited. He thought of his friends, most of them cynics, always casting a bored eye over the latest selection of debutantes, saying that marriage was such a chore, that ladies were interchangeable, which rude, and that love was best left to the poets. And then he thinks, fools, the lot of them. Love existed. One only had to wait for it, to watch for it, to fight for it, and he would. Lucy only had to sign for him, and he would go get her. He's really like just waiting for her to signal. Then Colin shows up and Gregory tells him everything, even about him and Lucy's night last night. Colin didn't lecture or judge. He just asked if he had anything to eat because, you know, they're both hungry.
Yeah, because Colin likes to eat.
Yeah. They're waiting, as we know.
Yeah.
They're waiting, and Lucy does not come out. The ceremony starts in less than an hour. Suddenly, they see a carriage. A wedding carriage. And no one seems to find that odd. Gregory wants to run and get her, but Colin holds him back. And then Richard and Hermione come out, followed by Lucy in a wedding dress. And no one was forcing her. She didn't have handcuffs on or like tied to a rope or anything. Hermione said something to Lucy and Lucy smiled.
She even smiled.
Yeah.
No.
And the pain that Gregory is feeling is palpable and real. And Colin asked, did she tell you that she wasn't going to go through with it? And then Gregory thinks about all the things that Lucy had said, which he was misinterpreting now in hindsight.
Mm.
She never said she wasn't going to marry Hazelby. And Colin just says, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that this is happening.
Ugh.
And he's misinterpreting it too. And Gregory still doesn't understand what's happening and thinks for sure that she will signal to him. But she never did. And Gregory was left feeling like a fool watching her right away. Gregory says,
hate it.
no, this doesn't make sense. She wouldn't do this. This doesn't make sense. You don't know her. And then Colin asks, do you know her? No faith in him.
Here's the thing. If someone would have said that to Colin when he was courting Penelope, he would have flipped the fucking shit.
Like, chose violence. He would have chose violence that day. And Gregory never chose his violence.
And
he never chooses violence.
That's a crazy thing. And you know what? It makes sense for Colin to say, I think, because like I can understand, because obviously everyone sees this age difference, but Gregory, obviously Colin sees him as like this young kid making crazy decisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it really is upsetting because it's like no one discredited Colin, Anthony, or Benedict when they were in love. No. And it's crazy that they're like discrediting
and it happens
Gregory.
A lot. Even Hyacinth does it. But Gregory says, yes, I do know her. And then he starts running. Chapter 21. Lucy is at the chapel. Hermione asks her if she's ready. She thinks about how Gregory must have seen her leave in her wedding gown. She also thinks that Hermione would tell her that she didn't have to go through with it even at this very moment when they were so close, that she could have a marriage of passion and not one of convenience. But when Hermione asks her again, are you ready? And because Lucy is Lucy, and because she would always be Lucy, she nodded. It was her wedding day, and she was dressed in the most luxurious gown she's ever seen, and she felt empty. She deliberately allowed Gregory to think that she had planned to call off the wedding. It was terrible, cruel, and dishonest, but she didn't know what else to do. She was a coward, and she could not bear to see his face when she told him that she still intended to marry Hazelby. She knows that Gregory would have insisted that there was a way out, but what did he know? He had never faced true adversity. There's not a way out without sacrificing Hermione and Richard. She thinks maybe everything will be all right. Maybe she'll be able to put Gregory in her past and embrace her new life. Then Hermione pulls Lucy aside and asks, "Are you certain you wish to do this?" And Lucy says yes. Like, of course, why would you ask such a thing? And Lucy said she looked like the saddest bride that she'd ever seen.
That doesn't surprise me. Sadness is in the eyes, man.
Yeah, it is.
You can't hide your emotion from your eyes.
You can't hide it.
No.
Lucy says, "I feel like I'm saying goodbye to myself." Then it's time to get things going. And Hermione says, "I simply will not tolerate a world in which you are not happy. So you better be fine, bitch."
She sees it, but also she should have pushed harder in this moment. Yeah. I'm sorry. She should have.
Tough love, more Hyacinth.
This is where she needed the tough love from someone who has been her best friend for 3 years.
Her bestie. Yeah. Oh, it's really sad. She walks down the aisle. This is what she had to do. If their family was labeled as traitors, Hermione and Richard would be cast into shame. And how could she do that to them? They're going through the ceremony. She gives her consent to marry when the chapel doors slam open and Gregory comes in and he's out of breath. And he says, "Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it." And no one says anything. No one tried to stop him. And he said, "I love you." Lucy wanted to cry. He said, "Don't do it. Don't marry him." Lucy whispered his name and said, "Why are you doing this?" And he just said, "I love you," as if there could be any other explanation. Lucy looked to Lord Hazelby, and he just gave her a look that said, "It's up to you." She looked back to Gregory. His eyes burned, and he sank to one knee, and he asked her to marry him. She wanted to, and she wanted to more than anything, but her father was still a traitor, her family was still being blackmailed, and the fate of her brother and Hermione was still in her hands. Gregory whispered again, "Marry me," and she said no. God, it's really sad. I just got chills.
It's a prologue, but through her eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. And we didn't get to see what she said, and she said no.
She said no.
Chapter 22. All hell broke loose. Lord Davenport and Uncle Robert charged forward, and so did Colin, who just arrived after Gregory. Lord Davenport landed belly down on top of Gregory. Ugh. And then Hyacinth started hitting Lord Davenport with her purse. Meanwhile, Hazelby and Lucy are standing off to the side watching, and Hazelby is just super casual.
He's
this happens every day.
Amused. Yeah. He's like, this is like a soap opera I'm actually living. This is crazy. Yeah. And that's such a vibe. Honestly, Hazelby is one of my favorites because he's just here for the drama.
Yeah. Hermes. And he's like, "I do hope Gregory will be able to get out from under my father. The man weighs 20 stone. Not that he would admit it. 20 stone is 280 pounds, by the way. I had to look it up.
Oh. Yeah, because... Yeah. How much? 200 and what?
280.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Hazelby was bizarrely calm. He tells her that he didn't say anything during Gregory's confession because he was actually curious to see what Lucy would do. And then he said he's honored to be chosen and that he will be a good husband and she doesn't need to worry. Gregory fights off Lord Davenport and a second person and reaches the bottom of the steps where Lucy is standing, eyes raw and stark with anguish and incomprehension. And he asked, "Why?" And she just whispered, "Because I had to." Finally, Gregory is dragged out of the church by 3 men. And then Hyacinth walks up to Lucy, glaring at her like she's the devil, and asked, "How could you? You are weak. You do not deserve him. I hope you..." And then she's cut off by Violet, who tells her to stop. Violet asks Lucy to forgive us and then pulls Hyacinth away. Lucy felt like this was happening to someone else. And then she stands up back at the altar and marries Hazelby.
Fuck Hyacinth.
Oh my gosh.
Dude. What is her problem? She inserts herself into this situation anyways. I get that she's close with Gregory, but she inserted herself into this, planting seeds when she knows that Lucy was engaged the whole time and that the shot probably was pretty low anyway.
And then goes to her
wedding.
And then
has the actual audacity to cuss her out in front of everyone, basically. Not cuss her out, but lay into her.
Kind of worse, yeah.
Yeah. Lay into her, call her a coward. When she
doesn't know the situation.
Hyacinth doesn't fucking know anything.
You don't know
she needs to shut her goddamn mouth because she thinks she knows everything. She's one of those people that thinks that they know everything, but they don't actually know everything. She knows a lot.
And then you find out the truth. They find out the truth later and still justify their actions.
And still justify how was I supposed to know that was the situation?
Yeah, that's kind of Hyacinth.
That's literally Hyacinth.
That's fair.
Shit pisses me off. I was so annoyed. I was like, shut your fucking mouth. Know your place. Shut up. I know that you're trying to protect Gregory. I understand. I get it.
And that's sweet.
But you have don't know the situation. Like, you don't know the situation. You're just inserting your opinion. Like, your opinion matters.
Crossing
like,
a line.
fuck off.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Oh. Switching POVs. Violet, Colin, and Gregory and Hyacinth are in a carriage going who knows where, probably in circles just to kill time. Violet demands to Colin, "What were you thinking?" And he's like, "I tried to stop him. Do you know how fast that guy can run?" Gregory is saying nothing. Hyacinth says that he'll have to leave town, and Violet agrees. It can't be helped. Gregory doesn't say anything and is just thinking of what Lucy had meant when she said, "Because I had to." Hyacinth says she will never accept Lucy. Countess or Queen of England. No one has the right to treat my brother like that. No one. I shall ruin her.
Good. Just kidding. No, it's not good. But seriously, she's being such a fucking twat.
Yeah, but she's also being Gregory's biggest advocate.
Sure, but
she believes in their love.
But
she just thinks Lucy's a coward.
I'm sorry, she doesn't believe in their love. Like, she doesn't. I'm sorry, I disagree.
Okay,
because
kind of right.
There's no way she believes in their love if she's just like at this situation, she's just like bashing the shit. First of all, she doesn't know enough about their love. She doesn't.
She met her like a week before.
She doesn't know anything about Lucy, and like all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, I know enough to know that she's a coward."
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't.
I feel like also there's a quote about Hyacinth that Hyacinth has never been one for like taking other people's feelings into account. She's gonna do what's best for Hyacinth.
Yeah, I just think it's
and she probably projects that, like, why don't you do what's best for you? And she probably just doesn't understand.
Oh my God, that's such a good point. Hyacinth, Hyacinth, I'm talking to you and the camera. She has never had to deal with, if anyone hasn't had to deal with adversity, it's fucking Hyacinth Bridgerton. Yeah. I'm sorry. No fucking adversity. Not 1 ounce of adversity.
Everything is
nothing.
So easy to her.
Even Gareth just landed in her fucking lap. Like, I'm sorry. Fuck you. You had literally no obstacles. What? Your fucking husband being a legitimate bastard? That's your fucking biggest problem in life?
Literally.
Fuck you. Fuck off. Like, it's so annoying. Find your jewels. Go home and find your jewels and shut the fuck up.
Keep looking for your jewels.
Go home, keep looking for the jewels and shut the fuck up. Because I'm over you.
Yeah. So yeah.
I hate Hyacinth at this point.
She can't comprehend how people can maybe have a different life situation.
Empathy, sympathy. She's like, what are those things? I've never heard of them. Never heard of her.
Anyways. And Gregory finally speaks up and says, "No, you won't ruin her. You will leave her alone, and if your paths should ever cross, you shall be all that is amiable and kind. Do you understand me?" And Hyacinth has the audacity to say, "No, I do not, as a matter of fact." How can you possibly have sympathy for her? If this had happened to me, and then Gregory's like, "It didn't happen to you, and you don't know her, and you don't know why she did this." And then Hyacinth says, "Do you?"
Yeah, that's such a fucking joke, because if Gareth was the one that went through this, she'd be like, "Well, we just got to give him another chance." Fuck you, Hyacinth. Fuck you. She's a double standard. # double standard. Yeah. Fuck you, Hyacinth.
She just needs more life experience.
But prior to this book, she was one of my favorite siblings. In this book, she is low rung. Not quite low enough to Daphne's level, but still low rung.
Violet asks Hyacinth to turn the other cheek, and she held her tongue. Then they start throwing out suggestions of what Gregory could do. He could go stay with Benedict and Sophie. He could travel. Meanwhile, he's just thinking, what did Lucy mean? Had she been forced? Was she being blackmailed? Blackmailed for what? Like, what could it be? Violet tries to reassure him that it would have been very difficult for Lucy not to go through with the wedding under all the circumstances. It would have taken someone extremely brave and resilient.
Hyacinth, are you listening?
And we know that Lucy was prepared to be both of those things, but not at the expense of Hermione and Richard, the only 2 people in her life up until now that had ever loved her. Violet says that Lucy will be viewed as a sensible girl, and Gregory says, "I will be viewed as a lovesick fool," and no one contradicts him. Violet comments that he would have thought that Gregory would be angrier at all of this. And he's like, "Why aren't I angrier? Why aren't I putting my fist through a wall like every other Bridgerton that would?"
Literally every other Bridgerton male. Dude, Colin would have burned down the church. Fucking Benedict and Antony would have burned down the church.
All of them.
They would have burned the city to the ground.
Oh my God.
That is actually crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
He's not violent.
No.
And then Violet's words echo in his mind, quote, I wish you nothing but your heart's happiness. And he believes that Lucy loves him. He's seen it in her eyes, and she needs his help. Gregory demands to stop the carriage because he needs air. Colin offers to walk with him, and Gregory says he prefers to be alone. And Violet's like, well, you're not going to... And he's like, storm the church. I have embarrassed myself enough for one day. They have to be officially married by now anyways. I just need air. I'm not going to do anything foolish.
Sure.
Only what's necessary. And then he takes off running again.
And he's about to do something foolish.
Yeah. Chapter 23.
Chapter
The after party at Lucy's house was lavish. Everyone in attendance just pretended that nothing weird had just happened. And she wished she was Lady Lucinda Bridgerton because everyone kept calling her Lady Hazelby. And she was like tasting it out.
Is that his last name is Hazelby?
I guess.
Oh,
so.
shit.
Yeah.
Where did Davenport come from?
You know what? I was thinking about that a lot, and I don't have any answers.
Okay. I'm glad we have the same mind.
Yeah. It's like Hazelby Davenport. What's his first name? We never know.
Where are we going with this?
I don't know. But she wished she was Lady Lucinda Bridgerton. She liked who she thought she'd be if she was Lady Lucinda Bridgerton. She couldn't picture the projection of her life as Lady Hazelby. She didn't know who she was or where she'd end up. She couldn't picture it. She danced with Hazelby and it was fine, but she also had to dance with Lord Davenport, which also was fine. She just kept her mouth shut. He kept talking and he was Lucy was just an amazing asset to their family and he was just so happy. And she became a member of their family in front of the entire ton. So like things were good for Lord Davenport.
Yeah, they were very proud of her for basically like denying Gregory.
Yeah. It was just such a brave thing.
In front of the entire ton.
Yeah.
It was like a huge thing.
But she did her best to avoid everyone. She didn't even want to talk to Richard or Hermione or else she'd cry. And she thinks it wasn't Richard's fault. He was deliriously happy and she was not. Kind of is.
Yeah, it's Richard's fault. Yeah, it's Richard's fault.
She was off sitting by herself and somehow that felt appropriate on her wedding day. She sneaks off to her room so she could cry, but the tears wouldn't come. She's thinking about her life, etc. And Gregory is there whispering her name. And she's like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? You shouldn't be here. And he tells her he just has to know why. Just tell me why you did this, and I promise to never approach you again. But she won't tell him. And then he guesses, you're being blackmailed. And she doesn't answer, but she answers with her eyes.
It's all in the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Smile with your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Smize.
Yeah.
As Tyra Banks says.
Tell him that you're being blackmailed with your eyes.
Yep.
Say it.
Yep. As Tyra Banks would say.
He says, whatever it is, I can make it right. And she gets angry again because he doesn't know. The Bridgertons aren't that powerful. They argue and argue and argue. And then he just asks, do you love me? And he has to ask several times. And then finally she says, yes, sobbing. And he should be relieved, but his blood began to race because like, what could be the problem? And like, what is it? She's crying in his arms and he thinks he'd do anything for this love. They still had a chance. She didn't consummate the marriage.
True.
And at the wedding, like the whole time that she was like going through the steps, she's like, well, you know, I gave my vows. Is that it then?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, they announced us. Is that it then?
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't consummate. Is that it then?
Yeah.
It's just like one step more.
Yeah. There's a lot to being officially married.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
Like at the beginning, she was like, they announced the bands.
Yeah.
Like it's done.
Yeah.
They're announcing it.
There's 15 billion steps to be considered officially married.
He says, don't go back. Come with me right now. She refuses. He thinks there's no way he could kidnap her without raising alarm, but he could try to buy them a bit of time.
Yeah.
He's like, yes, Lucy, like you're coming with me. And she's like, are you threatening me? And I think she like threatened to scream as well. And he's like, no one would hear you. And she's like, are you threatening me? He's like, no, I'm saving you. And before he had any time to rethink his actions, he grabbed her around the middle, threw her over his shoulder, and ran from the room.
It's definitely not good. Like, I'll be honest. It's not a good thing that he did. Like, I understand his desperation. Still not great.
When is it not great?
When is it not great? In this situation, it's not great.
Why isn't it?
In most situations, kidnapping someone is not a great thing to do.
I think I would be praying for somebody to kidnap me out of this situation.
Let's not. Okay. But Lucy is not praying for someone to kidnap her.
It's much like Sophie.
Does not. Yeah.
Like, please just leave me alone. Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm gonna.
She does not like, because listen, she wants him, but she doesn't want him to take her. And like, I get it in hindsight. Like, we understand hindsight's 2020, but this would be a terrifying thing.
For sure. I mean,
it's not a good thing. Like, this is bad. This is a really bad thing that he's doing. If someone came down to you, even if you loved them, you'd be like, well,
it's over.
If it was your brother's like life and reputation on the line, you'd be like, well, and his happiness with his like wife. You'd be like,
but
well,
you know,
you can relate to that. You can relate to that.
I can't think about it like that.
Sorry,
I'm okay with Gregory kidnapping her. It's not as bad as everyone on the internet made it sound.
It's not as bad as everyone on the internet made it sound. I don't disagree with that. It's not like she doesn't love him. She has these feelings for him. But like, at the same time, he does not understand what's at stake. And like, there is a lot at stake, and it's not a good thing. Like, it's not
it's just
a good
like what
thing.
you said with Hyacinth earlier. She doesn't understand, but she's still saying all these things, and she doesn't understand. And just like him.
It's not great. It's not good. It's not a good thing.
Yeah, I'm not going to deny that. I don't want to be kidnapped ever.
Chapter 24. Gregory ties Lucy to a water closet on the 3rd floor of the house because he doesn't want her to run back to the wedding. And also, he can't leave the wedding because there's like guards and shit, I think. She was so angry. Like, physically, it was like a physical thing. He asked her not to struggle because it would only leave her tired and sore. He asked her not to, let me say it again. He asked her not to struggle.
If someone asked me not to struggle, I would be fighting for my life.
Okay. This is bad. This is not a good thing.
No, it's just a misunderstanding, a huge misunderstanding. All around.
Oh my God, you would love dark romance. Like, I think that's your place.
No, I've read dark romances and I'm like, what in the actual fuck? There's no way. I don't understand them.
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
that's
like
fair.
It's not like this.
She's worried because if people realize she's gone after what happened at the church, they would assume that she'd run off with Gregory and she'd be ruined. He told her he'd marry her, but she said she's already married. He said that she can still get an annulment because they haven't consummated the marriage. And he asked if she was happy. And she said, well, like, no, I'm not. But
like, none of that matters.
That's not the point. Of course she wasn't. She loved Gregory. She wanted to be with Gregory, but being with him meant ruining Hermione and Richard's lives. She begged him not to do this, to let her go, that this wasn't about her. It was about her family. And he told her one last time, please tell me what is going on. And so she did. She told him everything. And he was shocked. And he was horrified.
He was like, oops.
To say the least. Yeah. Of all the things that he had guessed could have happened, treason was not on the list.
No.
But he told her that didn't change the way that he felt about her. Those were her father's actions, not hers. What he did was reprehensible and it made him sick, but Lucy was innocent in all of it. She shouldn't have to pay for his sins.
Yeah.
And she told him that neither should her brother.
True.
He told her that he loved her and that he is nothing without her. And then he told her he loved her over and over and over and over. And she said, quote, I love you. She finally answered, still not looking at him. You know that I do. I will not demean us both by lying about it. If it were only me, I would do anything for that love. I would risk poverty, ruin. I would move to America. I would move to Timbuktu. If that were the only way to be with you.
I would move to shit America.
Literally, I'd move to the shithole of America. She couldn't be so selfish to bring down the two people that had loved her so well for so many years, which, loved her well is an exaggeration. Yeah.
Love is
the definition of love.
Yeah. Love is, what did he say? Nuanced.
It's nuanced. Yeah. He asked her for 1 hour. Give him 1 hour to figure out something to make this all better.
Yeah. And
if he couldn't, she agreed. And if he failed, she would return to Hazelby with no hassle from Gregory.
That's a good deal.
On his way out, she asked him to release her bindings, and he said no, that she was far too honorable for her own good.
Details.
Is it details?
Yes, details.
But he will bring her back a sandwich.
See? Look at that.
Compromise. No. Oh my goodness. She told him that he had gone mad. But on his way out, she whispered, "Good luck." And I hate that for her. Stockholm syndrome girly. Gregory's first stop was Lucy's room to try and figure out how he would get an audience with Hazelby or Richard. On his way out the door, he ran right into Hermione, his first love. She asked what he was doing there, and
Yay.
that she was married to Hazelby. He's like, "Look, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to free her," meaning Lucy.
Yeah.
Hermione could tell that Lucy loved Gregory, but she didn't understand why she still married Hazelby. And he told her that Lucy was being blackmailed, but didn't say like with what.
Yeah.
Hermione immediately asked what he needed from her. 5 minutes later, Gregory was meeting with Hazelby, Richard, and Hermione. Richard was pissed and demanded to know where Lucy was. Gregory's like, "Dude, chill. She's safe." And Hermione's like, "Yeah, babe, chill. She loves him. We got to help him." Hazelby is watching this whole thing with quiet amusement. He knew that Lucy loved Gregory, and he doesn't care if Lucy wants out of their marriage. In fact, he prefers it. His father won't be pleased, but that actually makes him eager to release her. Hermione is begging them to let Lucy be a part of the conversation the entire time, and everyone is just like ignoring that. He's like,
Yeah.
Shut up, Hermione." Gregory,
Well, the men will make the decisions.
you're literally a woman. Like, we're not listening to your opinions, okay? Gregory asks if Hazelby will keep her secrets if he does release Lucy. Hazelby and Richard don't have any idea what the fuck he's talking about, and Gregory tells them exactly what he's talking about.
You know what? He doesn't hide it.
No. Well, Richard immediately denies it. His father was not a traitor.
Oh, yeah.
Gregory said that there is proof that apparently Uncle Robert has. But they immediately think Lucy was lied to, or that the evidence was faked.
Yeah.
Either way,
Bluffing.
something didn't add up. And they didn't quite know what, but it didn't add up. Why did Lucy's uncle need this marriage to happen so bad? Davenport was far too stupid to come up with a clever plan of like pretending that he had, evidence of traitorism or whatever.
Yeah.
A treason.
Traitorism.
I'm done.
We're adding new words to the dictionary.
Yeah, it's a new word. They do that this whole book, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Either way, they knew they needed to speak to Lord Davenport to get to the bottom of what was going on. Gregory told Hazelby and Richard to find Lord Davenport, and Hermione and Gregory will go get Lucy. Richard wasn't keen on this, but he was like, "All right, fine, whatever. Like, you can go, whatever, with my wife." Before they left, Richard handed Gregory a gun. And he prayed. Gregory's like, "Oh my God, please.
Oh my God.
really.
I'm a really bad shot.
The Lord help me if I have to use this motherfucker." On their way to the water closet, Gregory asked Hermione not to judge him for where he had to leave Lucy and how she was left, and like the state,
and the conditions,
and state in which she was left. And he told her that he had actually like tied her to a water closet because he didn't trust that she would have just like stayed there on her own. And Hermione was like, "Oh my God, that's hilarious! I can't wait to see it."
No, she did not.
Yeah, she did. She's like, "Oh my God, I cannot wait to see that. That's crazy. You're a crazy man."
Wow.
When they got to the room that Gregory had left Lucy, she was gone, and it was clear that she had not left willingly. Chapter 25. 10 minutes earlier. Lucy was a bundle of nerves sitting by the water closet, like tied to it, trying to assess
sitting by / tied to
sitting by / literally bound to the water closet
against her will,
trying to assess how long it had been since Gregory left. Had it been an hour yet? Jesus, it's like forever. Then she heard footsteps and she's like, "Oh my God, it's Gregory, I think, probably." And then the door busts open and it's actually Uncle Robert.
Yeah, Gregory would never bust through the door.
He would never bust through the door.
He would be really quiet.
He would like silently
committing
open
a crime.
Yeah, because he wouldn't want to be caught. Well, Uncle Robert was angry. And he again called her a whore and accused her of running away. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I ran away and then tied myself to a fucking water closet. You fucking dipshit, idiot, moron."
Man.
But she didn't say that though. She just said, "No, I didn't. I'm literally tied to a water closet." And he asked her how Gregory got into the house. Why did he kidnap her but then didn't leave? How did he know what room was hers? And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm not sure about that. Like, I don't know how he knew which room was mine. He's
really intuitive. I don't know.
That's crazy. Yeah, I have no idea. And then he sliced through her bindings with a knife. And then Lucy was like, oh, my God, I'm nervous because why does he have a knife?
You sounded like Leah from Love Island.
Oh my God, that's terrifying. Why does he have a knife? I don't know how I sounded. What if he has a knife? She asked nervously where they were going, and he said, to your husband. He was going to see to it personally that she consummated her marriage tonight. There will be an audience.
Wait, okay, so maybe that was when I was like, is he gonna do it? Can somebody else consummate a marriage?
Yeah, that's
like, no, I don't know.
That's crazy.
I got scared. Man, many
it's terrifying.
Horrible ideas in my head.
Many times. Lucy began to fight at this, kicking and flailing around, and then he puts the knife to her side, and he said he cannot kill her, but he can cause her a lot of pain.
Fuck you, Uncle Robert.
She asked him if he ever cared about her, and he said, no, you are my duty, one that I fulfilled and am pleased to discharge.
Jesus.
That's sad.
Yeah, I would kidnap her.
You would kidnap her?
Yeah.
Get her away from the man that is putting a knife to her side?
Yeah. And gonna watch her.
That's not her husband, though. Her husband's a nice guy.
Yeah, but he's fine with it.
He put her... Uncle Robert put her in a room and then blindfolded her. Okay, this part is so confusing, and I'm telling you right now, I read it 6 times.
Okay.
I cannot... Okay, I'm going to read it and you can...
Yeah.
As he was about to leave, she asked why, and he said, you know why. But it took him so long to answer that she got the feeling that he was lying. And she said, go then. Just over it at this point, ready for him to leave. And then they heard footsteps. Okay, back to Gregory. Hermione and Gregory are freaking the fuck out because someone had double kidnapped Lucy.
Kidnapped and then kidnapped again.
She got kidnapped twice in a row in one night. That's a crazy thing. They figured either Davenport or Uncle Robert, but the more likely answer was that it was Uncle Robert. He asked Hermione where Uncle Robert might take her in the house, and she said his bedchamber if he had meant to avoid public rooms. Gregory told her to go find her husband and bring him there. She departed, and he went to find Lucy. When he was outside of Uncle Robert's bedchambers, he could hear Lucy's voice asking, what are you waiting for? And then the voice he heard say, I'm not sure. Definitely wasn't Davenport, so he knew it probably was like Uncle Robert. He's like, I never heard Uncle Robert, but like that's definitely not Davenport.
Yeah, it's actually Davenport.
Yeah. Oh.
No I
like Davenport better,
you can
so
keep
I'm going to say
Davenport
because I like it better.
We just have to acknowledge that's incorrect. But that's okay.
I don't like that. I don't like it at all.
Sorry.
Why did I typed Davenport? That's the thing.
I don't know.
Okay, so he pulled out his gun and walked in. We're just going to move on.
He just pulled out his gun, yeah.
He pulled out the gun and he was like, oh my God, I don't even know how to shoot this thing. His heart stopped as he processed what he was seeing. She was bound and blindfolded, huddled in a corner with her uncle's gun pointing between her eyes.
Was he going to shoot her?
I don't know.
A blind execution? Point blank?
I don't think so. I think he was trying to threaten her.
Well, she's blindfolded.
I don't. That's a great question because I don't know.
Oh my God.
This whole scene is so confusing to me.
Okay.
When Gregory made his presence known, Lucy's uncle froze. Uncle Robert turned and told Gregory to drop his gun. And then I wrote, drop your gun.
Drop your gun.
Gregory knew in that moment he would shoot Lucy. Whatever he had done, he thought he had nothing to lose, and he didn't care who he took down with him. He promised himself in that moment that he would do whatever he could to make sure if one person walked out alive, it would be Lucy. Gregory tries to talk Uncle Robert down, but it's not working. At this point, Uncle Robert, I believe, is pointing the gun at her body, and somehow the blindfold is now off Lucy. And I don't know when that happened.
Okay, all right.
And I'm so confused at the movements of what's happening.
Okay,
because Lucy and Gregory's eyes meet, and she knew in that moment that she had to trust him.
Oh gosh.
Gregory tried to talk him down again. He asked why he needed Lucy to marry Hazelby. He said he talked to Lord Fensworth, And he was surprised to learn of his characterization of his father, that there must have been some error. Lucy's uncle said that Richard knows nothing. Gregory said he also spoke to Lord Hazelby, and he was also surprised to learn of his father blackmailing Robert.
Oh.
Yeah, he said that Hazelby was speaking to his father right now, to Davenport. Or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Unconfirmed. It's Davenport.
Literally. It's unconfirmed. Lucy looked at him and gave him a look that told him that he needed to go now to Gregory. But Gregory wasn't going anywhere. He told Robert that he loved Lucy enough to keep her family's secrets. And this is when Robert's face went bloodless. Gregory realized that it was Robert who was a traitor, not Lucy's father. Lucy was appalled. She couldn't believe her uncle would lie to her.
Why couldn't you believe that, Lucy?
Because he's a traitor. Of course he'd lie to her.
Of course.
Uncle Robert confirmed that it was him who had been doing shady shit and was being blackmailed.
Damn.
He said he had no choice. All he had was Lucy's father's leftovers, his scraps. Lucy asked if Uncle Robert killed her father, but he's like, no, it was a robbery that was completely unrelated. I have no idea how that happened. It was just like a lucky coincidence. Gregory announced that it was over. He needed to let her go. He wouldn't expose him. He had nothing to gain by doing so. Even if Davenport were to expose the secret, Robert was not the Earl and never was. Richard was not his son, so if Robert went down, it had no effect on the rest of the family. Robert moved the gun to Lucy's belly, indicating that he had no intention of letting Lucy go. The door filled with everyone: Richard, Hazelby, Davenport, and Hermione. They had no idea what they were walking in on. Robert started freaking out, telling everyone to stay away. Richard charged with his gun, shots fired, Lucy fell. Gregory, for the first time in his life, shot his intended target.
Oh my gosh.
Which I don't know. Kind of. It says like kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
This is aiming for the middle of chest and hit an arm.
Yeah. I think that was exactly what happened. Lucy's uncle had fell on her and it hurt. Gregory ran to her, pulling her out from under her uncle. He thought she had been shot, but she was okay.
Yay.
Uncle Robert had only been shot in the arm and was huddled in the corner. They got up and Hazelby agreed to the annulment. They were like, please release her. And he's like, yeah, for sure. I don't really care.
This arm hurts.
That's fine. No, Hazelby agreed to
Hazelby? He's like, yeah, I don't really care
Not
either way.
Robert.
Hazelby's like, I didn't have much, going
he's like,
for
I didn't
me
have
in
any
this marriage.
stock in this. Yeah,
no, like literally
fine.
nothing.
But Lucy did ask if he would like for her to help him find a wife for appearances, and Hazelby agreed.
Well, while they're still in this room?
Yeah. This is all in the room.
Okay.
Gregory threatened Davenport not to reveal the blackmail that he had on Uncle Robert because the Queen would also not think very highly of a man who had proof of treason and kept it to himself all these years.
That's right. And so now Gregory's going to take on that. They're all going to take on that.
Yeah, everyone in the room is going to take it on. Yeah.
That knowledge.
Literally,
keep it to themselves.
Whole thing, yeah. Then he told Robert, you are going to leave the country tomorrow. And Richard said that he would pay his passage so he would leave as soon as possible. Then Gregory kissed Lucy once, twice, 3 times, just because he could.
Okay. Not there. Not the time. Time and a place. The time and a place.
Well, she almost did just die. So, I feel like that's a decent time and place. And I don't even like Gregory, and I would say that that's actually probably not a bad time and place. I fucking hate Gregory's old
I just picture them, making out, but they're probably just,
They are making out. No, they are. They are.
Oh.
Epilogue 1. Gregory had been wrecked during the birth of their first child. Quote, it was a damn good thing men couldn't have children. Gregory took no shame in admitting that the human race would have died out generations earlier. By the 3rd, he was more relaxed and less anxious. The 4th, he had brought a book. The 5th, a newspaper. The 6th, he was gone for a quick visit to a friend's house and came back and the baby had been born. By the 7th, he decided he wanted this one to be his last. And then, sure enough, she was pregnant 6 months later. Then for the 8th, he actually came into the room for the first time. He wasn't in the room the entire time. Literally, he was outside the door.
Okay.
But the baby quite literally popped out, within a blink of an eye. Then Lucy didn't feel quite right. She was like, what's going on? Then boom, another baby came out.
Twins.
Gregory was a little overwhelmed. I mean, that was 9 children. What was he to do with 9 kids?
That's a lot of fucking kids.
Yeah, I know. Then he looked at Lucy and remembered that love existed and it was grand. 9 times grand, which was very grand indeed. And that was epilogue 1.
So, I wish it would have ended there.
Don't disagree. Okay, I did a very quick recap for the second epilogue because honestly,
Perfect. I was very long.
I was over it at this point. Epilogue 2. Hyacinth is staying with Gregory and Lucy for the birth of their 8th and 9th children, and a few weeks after to help them, like, because they have fucking 9 kids. Yeah. That's a lot of kids. It is mentioned that after everything happened with the uncle, like the Robert guy,
that situation, you know, that whole thing,
that Lucy was granted an annulment from the church after 2 very large donations from both the Bridgerton family and the Fensworth family. Okay. As it took
money talks, baby, money talks.
Literally, facts. Especially to the church, apparently. No, I'll cut that.
No, don't cut it. Don't cut it.
Also, it took Hyacinth 2 years to warm up to Lucy after everything.
Jesus, Hyacinth.
After everything, yeah.
2 years?
2 years. But now she was fiercely loyal. They named the last 2 daughters Eloise and Francesca. Hyacinth was not thrilled. Their other children's names in order are Catherine, Richard, Hermione, Daphne, Anthony, Benedict, Colin, Eloise, and Francesca.
No, Hyacinth. Bye. Fuck you, Hyacinth.
Fuck you, Hyacinth.
Jesus.
Lucy hemorrhages after the birth of their second twin daughter. The midwife does everything she can, but Lucy passes out, and now it's a waiting game to whether she will wake up again or not. Catherine comes up to see her mom, and she is just like Lucy. Her personality is exactly like Lucy. Catherine and Gregory decide to give middle names to the twins, and it will be Francesca Hyacinth and Eloise Lucy. Great. Lucy wakes up the next day, and she will be on bed rest for a month. All of her kids come to see her, and it's a very sweet moment, and Lucy just keeps saying how much she loves everyone. That's literally all it is.
Yeah, that's all it is. Okay, but they made it seem like Lucy might actually die.
No, she almost did die.
Yeah.
No, she definitely almost died.
Okay, in the second epilogue of the 8th book, I was like, is she really gonna... This is where you're gonna choose to kill someone off?
Yeah, after all this time, we've been waiting for murder, and this is when you're gonna do it?
I wish there was more murder.
I wish everyone just died. No, I actually don't disagree, but I actually do kind of like it, though, because... in this time, there had to have been more childbirth deaths. Like, there has to be. Like, they didn't have all that great of healthcare and knowledge of
technology.
So honestly, it makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, a surprise twin delivery. Yeah, that makes sense.
100%.
Yeah.
So it is interesting. But what's so crazy to me is, like, when she was passed out and they were like waiting, they were like, well, we don't know when she's going to wake up. Like, it probably won't be for a couple weeks. And then literally the next day she wakes up. I'm like, okay, what?
There's really good red blood cell regeneration rate.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Jesus. But it's also fucked up that Gregory didn't name any of his 9 children after Hyacinth.
Well, Hyacinth was kind of the biggest hater on their relationship, so I actually don't misunderstand it, because
yeah, she was a 2
lot,
years,
and it took 2 years for her to even warm up to Lucy,
which is crazy. That's a long time.
But they were the closest.
Yeah,
so it is interesting.
Close. Yeah, I'd be mad. I'd be upset.
I love that she named her first daughter after Kate. It's what it's supposed to be, because I was like, who the fuck is Catherine? And then I was like, oh,
you did.
It's Kate.
That was funny.
I did love that, but honestly, she shouldn't have named any of her fucking children after Richard and fucking Hermione. Fuck them.
Yeah, the whole thing with Richard and him being able to put a stop to that wedding, like, the entire time, is insane.
No, he deserves the worst in life, the worst that life has to offer.
Yeah,
fuck Richard.
If it was my brother and I was in that situation, he would have, without a second thought,
100%.
Without a second thought.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Now, would you have wanted someone to kidnap you if your brother and the love of his life were on the line? Their reputation, their everything. Would you have wanted someone to kidnap you?
No, of course not. I would have rather died.
So so you agree the kidnapping was not a good idea?
Yeah, it was not good, but he didn't have all the information.
Okay. And that's fair, but still. Even with the information, he should have been like, oh, okay, then you need to go back, because I completely understand this. But
yeah.
No, he didn't give her any choice.
No.
No, fuck him. Honestly, fuck Gregory. Okay, now we can reveal to you who didn't like it and who did like it.
Yeah.
I fucking hated it.
Kylie hated it, and I didn't mind it. And I think I was able to, after 8 books, suspend my disbelief a little bit more for this one. And I think I could relate to Gregory and Lucy a little bit more than the other characters. And so I just liked it more.
So my biggest problem with it was not even like I feel like the problems we've had is the historical inaccuracies and like when we've decided to be historically accurate or not historically accurate. That's the things that I feel like we've had problems with. But the things that have been consistently good throughout these books is the writing of the romance and like that for me. So I can honestly like get over the kidnapping. I can because like honestly,
yeah, me too.
Because it was romantic. My issue with this relationship is I did not feel the romance because of the fact that he was in love with Hermione first. I cannot. And please tell me, women out there, like if you are catching my vibe as well, if a man, put yourself in the shoes, if a man like saw you and your best friend together and fell in love with your best friend first and was in love with her, and you are literally helping this man get at your best friend because he's in love with her. He's like, I want to know her mind. Yeah, she's literally a diamond. You're a candlestick. Like, like you're telling me that then being with that man is not settling? Please, for the love of God, tell me that in your mind for the rest of your life, you wouldn't think that man still wants to fuck my best friend. Because you can't. You can't. You cannot tell me that you would be in situations where you'd see them talking, like even as friends, and you wouldn't be like, oh God. Because you can't.
I don't know.
You cannot tell. There's no
It's
way.
hard. I've never been in that situation, and I never will be. And I've never even really had like a best friend that I like when you said imagine your best friend, like I couldn't picture somebody.
Okay, or that's fair.
So I just can't put myself
like,
fully in their shoes. And I think that maybe that's why I enjoyed it more because I can't.
Well, especially because Hermione was fluttered for him. Yeah. So at one point she did have a feeling for him.
Yeah, but she also fluttered for Mr. Edmonds and Richard.
So
I feel, well, she was young and you flutter for a lot of people and that makes sense. And that's
she's
fine.
Inconsistent and she's unreliable. She has, in my opinion, she has not been a good friend. She's completely dismissed Lucy's feelings on numerous accounts. Everything in their relationship had been about her and only her. And you're telling me that kind of friend wouldn't fuck your boyfriend, because that's not true. That kind of friend would fuck your boyfriend.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
That kind of friend would fuck your boyfriend. So I'm just saying, put yourself in those shoes.
Okay.
I can't, like, I would be insecure about it for the rest of my life. I would either, and now you can't drop your best friend because she's literally married to your brother, and you're married to the guy that literally was in love with your best friend at one point. And that's constantly around you. That's constantly something to factor in and think about.
It's hard for me to get on your same level, and I don't know why.
Oh, I just couldn't. I couldn't see them having even like an innocent, happy conversation and not think they're gonna go fuck later. I just couldn't. I don't care. Call me insecure. I don't care. There's too much evidence to the contrary. I'm sorry. There's too much evidence to show.
It was only like 3 days.
No. I don't care. It's 3 days too much.
Yeah, but has that never happened to you where you're like, I'm not going to say like instantly fell in love, but been attracted to somebody at first sight because of the way that they look, and then got to know them and realize that like, oh, not for me.
Sure, but then I've never also then turned around and been like, oh, your best friend to the guy. Because that's a crazy thing to do.
Yeah, but I'm sure it happens.
But also, if I'm putting if someone did that to me and first saw my best, it's about the comparison.
Yeah.
He saw them side by side and said, I want you, Pikachu. And then later on, he's like, just kidding, I want you. That's a second choice. I don't care.
I mean, yeah. When you put it like that, I'm not going to deny that.
When they're sideways. Could you imagine if we were both single and a man came up to the both of us and looked at me and said, I want you. And then you guys got like, and then everyone kind of settled. And then he was like, well, actually, because of like, I don't know, something as trivial as anything. I don't know. Yeah, because of the color of my fucking hair.
Yeah.
Ugh. You're not telling me that wouldn't make you feel insecure a little bit? Make me feel fucking insecure as shit.
Yeah, a little bit. But like I said, I'm able to suspend my disbelief.
It's
for
just
the
that's
sake
the
of this
one
story.
thing she's done well is the romance, and that took me out of the romance.
Yeah, it didn't take me out
Yeah.
because it's, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't have as strongest feelings about that at all. When you brought it up, I was like, oh yeah, because I've never had like a really close girlfriend like you.
Well,
like
and
you.
obviously the girls that you have in your life are very trustworthy and like kind and like would never do anything. Like you can trust them.
Yeah.
So you've never probably had.
And also, I've never been one to, like I didn't have a lot of confidence in myself when I was younger and like at the age of dating. And so I just never even saw myself someone that would be attractive to somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then
So I never
Austin,
even had those
right?
thoughts.
Austin saw you and he only wanted you. Like he wanted
Maybe.
you. He thought you were attracted. He wanted probably like let's be honest.
No, I don't
But it's
even
like
know.
it would be so detrimental, like in my opinion, to like
I feel like he came into my life.
and wanted someone else for looks.
Yeah.
But saw the two of you at the same, like that would be horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't be horrible. I think it would, but he only saw you. He only had eyes for you, and that's where I'm like, that's when you know, like,
Yeah.
someone will want you for you, even if you're not like
The most.
Well, I shouldn't say even if you're not like ethereal, next level, elvish type beauty. Like very few people in this world are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Okay, I shouldn't. I mean, you are literally the most beautiful person in the world. Like I
wasn't taking that the wrong way. I don't feel like
you
I
are
am.
literally a stunning,
I feel like
stunning,
I'm
stunning,
average.
stunning woman.
I'm
No,
average.
I think you're beautiful. I do literally think you're beautiful. Your hair, your eyes. I think you have like the best smile. Okay, this sounds. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be like. I'm sorry.
We're taking it too far.
I'm sorry.
We're getting in too
I
deep.
can't help it. The drinks. Okay. What's next?
Let's rate
The books.
let's rate the books. So
Okay.
I guess like how are we gonna rate them?
Let's do
Like
best to worst.
like what like how much you like the book in general, just as a whole?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna say my number one is Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, so Colin and Penelope's story. Number two would be Francesca's story. Francesca and what's the other one?
Yeah, one that guy.
Number three, I would say Anthony and Kate's.
Okay.
Number four, I would say Hyacinth and Gareth's. Number five, I would say, you know what? And then I am gonna go Gregory and
That's not a bad spot for them.
no, I don't disagree because like it's gotta be, and this is gonna be controversial. It is.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Philip and Eloise, and then no, Daphne and Simon, and then Philip and Eloise. Book wise. Couple wise, if I had to rank them by couple, I want to flip those last two. Does that make sense?
Daphne and Eloise.
Yeah. So book wise, I did
You liked
find
Daphne's book. You would read that again before you would read Eloise's book.
yeah, because the whole thing was infuriating. But like
Only Daphne's had
was
one
the
spot.
one spot. It was really bad.
That makes sense.
But it was only if I could just take that one thing out, like it
Yeah.
was interesting.
Yeah,
For the most part.
You forgot Benedict.
Oh, I did.
Where does he fit in the mix?
Right above Benedict, or right above. Okay, so
Colin?
it was right below
Gregory?
So Gregory, Benedict,
Daphne Eloise.
Daphne, Eloise.
Okay.
And then I would if I'm ranking by couple, I would flip Daphne's and Eloise's. So
Got it.
last would be Daphne, and then Philip and Eloise would be second to last.
And then Benedict, Gregory, Hyacinth, Anthony, Francesca.
Yeah.
And Colin. Okay.
And then what's yours?
Oh my gosh. I gave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books, 3 stars.
Oh shit. Okay.
That's interesting. Okay, so favorite books. I would read honestly Gregory's again first.
That's your number one.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Like
okay.
If I was gonna reread these,
Okay.
his would be the only one that I would reread. But I wouldn't. You know what I mean? If they were like,
Yeah.
read one book again,
That
it would
does
probably
shock
be
me though.
Gregory's.
Okay.
I like, and then Francesca's would be next.
Okay.
because I feel like she has gone through so much that I've not gone through. So maybe like in a later date, I could relate to her more.
Okay.
Francesca, and then Hyacinth. I feel like Hyacinth was just kind of mid.
I agree.
Like
it was
nothing
mid.
huge happened. Nothing.
It was a nice
kind of. It was nice.
It was a nice palate cleanser
Yeah.
after we had Francesca's, who was so sad.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
It wasn't that like hard or
Yeah.
heavy or weird. Nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
And then Anthony for sure. Actually, I'm gonna put Anthony above Hyacinth.
Okay, I agree with that.
Yeah. And then Hyacinth.
Where's Colin and Penelope?
And then Colin and Penelope.
After Hyacinth?
Okay.
We loved
No.
Colin and Penelope.
Okay, wait. Yeah, I'll put Colin and then Hyacinth.
Okay. I can get on board with
Because
that.
there's a lot of parts that I'd rather read with Colin over Hyacinth for sure.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end of their story. But most of their story, I was like,
I just loved Penelope as a character.
I do love
I liked
Penelope
reading
a
about
lot.
Penelope
Yeah,
as a
I
character.
do love Penelope. She reminds me of one of my old instructors from vet tech school.
Yeah, she was good. I liked her a lot.
I love her. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Eloise.
Okay. Benedict.
Like you hate Benedict more. I don't know. Yeah, so I would rather read Daphne and then Benedict. Benedict was my life's favorite. There was nothing about it that I loved.
My thing about Benedict is like I didn't obviously loved that he blackmailed and like technically kidnapped her, which is the same thing Gregory did, by the way, minus the blackmail. He also kidnapped her.
Yeah, when you gotta get right down to the definition of it, yeah.
However, well, but my thing about Benedict and the reason I ranked it higher than Eloise and Philip was because Benedict and Sophie were suited for each other as a couple.
Yeah.
Like they had a lot of obstacles, more obstacles than any other couple, like to be fair.
Yeah.
Well, besides Gregory had a really big obstacle, but which is why they both kidnapped their respective. Anyways,
it happened twice. So
but they were very much suited for one another.
Yeah.
And at least like Benedict didn't like love her best friend before her.
Fuck Benedict, dude. No, I would take Gregory over him any day.
You're taking Eloise over Benedict though? Only because of a little blackmail and kidnapping, which you also have just condoned.
Wait. Did I?
Yeah, I think you said Eloise and then Benedict and then Daphne.
I hate Benedict.
That's crazy.
Eloise, Philip didn't do anything
What
wrong.
is it that you said to me? # double standard?
Yeah. So what's my double standard?
With Gregory?
What?
Kidnapping?
Oh, well, yeah. Gregory and Benedict are on opposite ends of my list.
Exactly.
So I'll tell you why.
That's what I'm saying. That's the one saving grace for Benedict is that he was actually suited to Sophie, whereas Eloise and Philip weren't suited for one another, in my opinion. Like,
No.
I don't think that they fit at all.
I don't think well, yeah, Eloise and Benedict and Sophie were suited for each other at the end of the day, but that's never ever what he never until like chapter 22 gave any thought to Sophie's feelings or thoughts about it. He's like, well, you're going to be my mistress and that's going to be fine with me and with you, which was annoying and it wasn't romantic and I didn't feel it.
And Philip spent 55 billion% of his day in a greenhouse and didn't
Honestly,
even want to eat with his wife.
I could rate both of them equally at the end.
Let's just
I'm
rate
not
them
going to argue.
equally.
No, I don't like one over the other. They're both equally terrible. But we had to put them in order.
That's fair.
And Daphne, honestly, Daphne as well. All three of them can hang out at the bottom.
Yeah,
together.
Daphne would have been ranked so much higher had she not literally raped her husband.
Yeah,
like
I
she would have been ranked
most
so
of her story
much higher.
I just don't care to read it again.
Like 100% would have ranked so much higher. I don't really know if I'd read any of these books again. If I had to, gun to my head, I would say that I would read Colin and Penelope's probably.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your quote of the week? Let's get to it.
Yeah,
Mine. I only wrote one down. I had room for like 3, but I wrote one down. It was Lucy had to marry him, if only so they could eat masses and masses of food together every morning.
Mine was, it was a damn good thing men couldn't have children. Gregory took no shame in admitting that the human race would have died out generations earlier.
He's so self-aware of how
He's so self-aware.
So stupid men are.
He's like, give women healthcare.
Who would you be?
I would be probably Lucy. Kidnap me.
Say.
Just kidding. Don't kidnap me. But I probably
under the
would
right
be,
circumstances.
be very unfortunate. Like,
I would.
I'm gonna bop you with this.
I would be the girl at the ball that Hyacinth was like, "You got to dance with this bitch," because her family's been dangling in front of you for like weeks and months, and I would have no chance with Gregory and
that's a good
or
one.
with anybody. And yeah,
that's a really good one.
Who would you want to be?
I would want to be probably Hermione. And I hate fucking Hermione. She's a stupid dumb bitch. But also, she like fell in love and really had zero obstacles. Like she just got to flutter for everyone, and everyone was just like fawning over her.
Yeah.
And like she got to marry her best friend's
They're like,
brother.
whatever you want, sweet Hermione. Whatever
like,
you want to do.
She just gives no fucks about anyone's feelings, and it's just like she just gets to live life completely uninhibited by like, you know, empathy or like sympathy or like anything.
You don't have to think about the horrors of the world. You just got it good.
She's completely unweighed down by all of those burdens.
Good for
so
her.
it's just really refreshing, and I would love to just be completely narcissistic that way. Like honestly,
yeah. I think I didn't write anything down, but I would want to be Lucy, and not because of all the things that happened with her family, just because she ended up
with the happy ending,
getting who she would really in love with. Favorite character in the whole book?
My favorite character is Hazelby. Even though I said his name wrong for a majority of it.
No disrespect.
No disrespect to Hazelby, but honestly, I fuck with Hazelby. I love I just love his vibe.
Yeah.
He's just there for the drama.
Yeah, that's a good one. He was like even at the dinner when they had met before they got married, he was like,
and he was so nice.
Yeah, he was really nice to him, and he was like standing up to his father and like, and then being super nonchalant at the whole wedding thing.
Yeah, I love him.
And then helped at the end. Yeah. Who's my favorite character? Probably Lucy, just because she's very.
No, I like Lucy actually.
Yeah,
I like Lucy.
Yeah, I love Lucy.
I feel like she was a victim of shitty people in her life.
Yeah,
honestly.
But she's super relatable. Who's your least favorite character? Hyacinth.
No, it is probably Richard. Like I think I'll always just despise or Uncle Robert, but I really just feel like Richard is the secret stealthy villain who could have literally stopped all of this, and then he comes in at the end of the day like he's some sort of hero. Like what a little bitch. Like honestly, fuck you. Uncle Robert, like he's an obvious villain. He's a traitor. He's a piece of shit. Like in a war that was like, you know, a big deal.
Yeah, it's like actually like the Napoleonic Wars, really.
Yeah, it's like a really big deal. Or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of contenders for least favorite character. And Richard, honestly, if he would have just stepped up and like become the Earl, he could have prevented this whole book from happening pretty much. And so that is interesting perspective.
Richard's a piece of shit. He's literally the stealthy fucking villain. I hate him so much. It's honestly despicable. My brother would never act the way Richard did in any of these situations. Ever. Ever.
Oh, it makes me sad. It makes me really, really sad.
Fuck him.
So yeah, I don't know how I can pick between like Davenport and even Uncle Robert or Richard.
Like at least Uncle Robert was like never pretended to be something that he wasn't. He was a piece of shit. You knew he was a piece of shit. He was.
Neither did Richard. Maybe he was naively stupid, but.
Well, yeah, he did. He 100% pretended. He pretended like he actually gave a shit about Lucy. He pretended like her feelings, like, and her situation mattered to him. And then he did absolutely nothing to prevent it. So he's just like fucking two-faced little bitch.
Dude, I don't even think my mind will let me completely understand how horrible he is. Like, you just can't go there.
Because honestly, a majority of the reason he probably even ever went to go visit Lucy ever was to see Hermione.
Because he loved Hermione. Yeah.
Oh my god! Like the man
just gets
sucks.
worse and worse, and I don't want to go there.
I hate him. Despise him.
What do you rate it? 1 to 5 stars.
1.2. I hate it. Here's what I feel. Right? Like I feel like Julia Quinn was like, "This is my last book." And I have all these ideas that I never used. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take every idea that I haven't used and I'm going to put it in one book. And it wasn't cohesive, and it wasn't like, it didn't make sense at times, and it didn't flow for me. The romance was not there. for me. And like, it just, I mean, it ended somewhat satisfyingly, but then we're going to like almost kill off a character in the second epilogue. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I don't even think she knew.
Well,
I think she was just like feeling vibes.
It does track with how unhinged some of the rest of the books are.
This felt the most, I don't know, this felt to me the most unhinged. Like, normally there's one or two unhinged things. This was just constant and consistent unhingedness.
Okay, what was the most unhinged part about Anthony's book? It was Kate's mom dying the way that she did. That does not compare to Lucy being held gunpoint in her room. You know, that it was just so much elevated. It did feel like
her almost dying, her man being literally in love with her best friend first, like Gregory having some weird rivalry with his older siblings that made no sense. Like, there just was so her uncle being a traitor.
Yeah,
like,
and
what's happening?
It felt like a little bit like, I mean, obviously it was outlandish. It felt like a Scooby-Doo episode.
It felt like a Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, it did.
Maybe
just like,
yeah, maybe that's why it was like somewhat intriguing.
Yeah,
because it did feel like
it was just a lot. It was a lot of drama. But yeah, it was. I thought it was a fine ending to the series. Guess just like wrap it up in the most unhinged way you can, and then we'll move on.
I do respect that it was so unhinged. I do, it to an extent, respect it.
Yeah,
because it did feel like she's been holding back, and this is just her completely unleashed with her unhingedness.
Yeah. I got a little crazy with Daphne, but I brought it back around with.
And now I'm just gonna let it all go.
I gave it 3 stars, and I think I did like the romance aspect of it. I think I related to Lucy a lot with feeling always second best, and I related to, I don't know if I can say I related to Gregory, but I understand like why he was just like, I mean, he's 26 and you're gonna lust after more than one person, but obviously went into it a lot deeper. You can.
Yeah, I don't disagree, especially when you don't know what love is.
Yeah.
I understand.
It's just not for you, and that's fine.
If he fell in love with anyone else, like it just had to be her best friend. Like, I would have forgiven anyone else. Anyone else.
Yeah, and I don't know. I can't. Maybe my mind is just like blocking me from really feeling it all the way, but it's fine. Maybe that's what you have to do to enjoy a book sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gave it 3 stars because I don't know. Gregory wasn't ever like violent.
No.
Like the other men, and.
No, he wasn't. That's true.
There was no rape. There's no.
Thank God.
Yeah. Coercion.
There was talk about it, but yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
There was kidnapping.
Not between the two main characters. Yeah. Anyways.
But in a fun way. It was like fun kidnapping.
Yeah, it was. It was like Scooby-Doo. Think Scooby-Doo episode. It was like that.
It was. There was a lot more intrigue. It was more interesting.
Yeah, it was an interesting book.
It definitely leaned more heavily into like the romance aspect of it than it did actually like more like she's been trying to be more historically accurate, I feel like, and then this one was just like complete fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe that's why I liked it more, because it was just like so crazy that it was just entertaining.
It was letting go of every single bound of like accuracy that you could get, and it just was completely
because the accuracy is not fucking fun or romantic. I need something else, because that time frame is just not okay.
Kidnapping and blackmail is okay if we're doing it fantasizing.
Yeah,
if we're fantasizing about it.
Yeah, and exactly. To be clear, I don't condone kidnapping. I don't know why I was just able to like remove myself further away from the story and just able to enjoy it more. And honestly, I don't know.
No, I do actually understand. I do understand.
I'm done with it.
I do understand your point. I will say that.
And the way that people made it seem on the internet, like it was just going to be so crazy. And the way that we were reading Daphne and Benedict's story, I'm like, I can't imagine what Gregory's about to do. And it just wasn't like that at all. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. Next week, we're going to be reading Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. They didn't number the chapters, so we're going to be reading through what is chapter 25, which is called Work. Okay, If you get to chapter Work and you want to follow along, stop reading there for part 1. Rihanna will not be making an appearance. Rihanna.
Rihanna. It's Rihanna.
It's Rihanna. Bet. Okay.
Let us know in the comments.
It's Rihanna. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. Oh my gosh. Please send us all the feedback from this episode, from this book.
If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please email us at litlibationspodcast@gmail.com.
Send in your fanfic, send in your fan art, send in your feedback. And we'll see you next week for a complete genre shift.
Woo, woo.
Uglies, part 1.
And Rihanna will not be here. Rihanna.
Maybe we'll insert a Rihanna song.
Rihanna.
Bye.
Bye.